The Michael K. Show on Yes is brought to you by Untuck It. Shirts designed to be worn untucked. Shop now at untuckit.com.
And good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on this Friday, December 13th, 2024. This is the final show of this iteration of the Michael K. Show.
There'll be other Michael K. shows, but this one is ours.
We are coming to you live from Tommy's Tavern and Tap in Clifton, New Jersey, and not trying to oversell it, this place is absolutely packed. And we thank everybody that's been waiting outside for a couple of hours and hope that everybody did get in, tried to see everybody when they came in. And it does mean a lot to all of us. The show has meant a lot to all of us, and hearing your stories that you told me while I was outside, it means the world. It really does. So if we help you get through a tough time at any point or a happy time, it means a lot. That's what you do this job for.
Yeah, it's like so many stories like that. You know, it was a tough time in my life, whether it was COVID or some illness they had, or it's just, hey, I started listening a variety of years. Could be 2018. Some people went back to 03. You know, just crazy stuff. Since July 15th, 2002. That's when the show started, 10 to 1. I think we moved to Afternoon Drive sometime very early 05.
Right.
So that's 19 years in Afternoon Drive. Pretty incredible stuff. So thanks, everybody, for coming out. This is going to be a fun day.
Now,
fun.
Be honest, Michael.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Mikey.
Okay, Mikey. Now, today when you woke up, and I got that lovely text message from you, first thing.
Very nice.
But Don still got his message.
Yeah.
Okay, that's nice of you. You deleted, you edited it.
It was rejiggered.
Rejiggered a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was much more emotional, and this one was pretty emotional.
But you cut down some.
Yeah, I took some small
After yesterday.
Out. Yeah.
But when you woke up today, and when you showed up here today, and you're seeing what you're seeing, is it feeling a little more emotional than it has the rest of the week?
Maybe a little bit more, but you're not going to get me to cry.
You don't think you're crying?
I don't want you to cry. It'd be uncomfortable to see you cry.
I don't know. I don't think I will.
No?
No. But if I do,
so
does it make me less of a man?
More of a man. Who wants to see him cry today?
All right, well, here's the secret sauce to make
That's
that
what
happen.
they want.
If you go up to Michael and you say, Michael, I've been listening to the show since 02.
Means nothing.
And the show really means a lot to me. You won't get anything. You'll get eggs.
Right. What?
But if you want Michael to cry, say, Michael, you got me through a lot.
Once he
Peter and Don, they could die right in front of me. But you are the reason I listen. I am going to miss you.
Individually.
And unfortunately, I'm not around 1 to 3. So then that might get him to cry.
Then he might
a little bit.
Tear up.
But clamped, maybe.
We have a lot of interesting, exciting, random things today.
Oh, my God. You can't even figure out what we're doing.
I got a couple surprises for you guys.
You do?
Sure I do. Sure I do.
It would be just like you to surprise someone.
Yeah, I got a couple of surprises for you as the show goes on. But
my agent got me a cake, Russ, and congrats to Don, Peter, and Michael.
By the way,
I'm not sure it's congratulations on 22 and a half years, or congratulations that you don't have to work with Michael anymore. I didn't ask him. I just took the cake.
But by the way, I like that your agent put your name first. Do you see that?
Right. Well, that's what it's going to be on the new show.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
I think it's congratulations for the percentage of 22 years.
Right. Well, yeah. You get a congrats.
Yeah.
Well, Don, if you do the math, you spoke 16 years of the time.
That's not a true number. I didn't talk 70% of the time.
How many people think Don talks a lot?
How many people have a problem with that?
No, you asked it the wrong way. How many people love every single word that comes out of Don's mouth?
That's good.
See, that's how you do it. You got to phrase it the right way.
Yeah, I didn't want it that way.
I know.
Well, it could be 70% because, Peter, there was that one summer and there's a lot of Yankee Day games.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
And there was, there's throat surgery and everything.
I don't even like to joke about that. That was a very dark time.
Dark time.
No, it was. We felt bad for you.
Not really.
It was one of the saddest moments, I think, of the show's history. was that beach bash where Michael's like sat there silently, and it was sad for a bunch of reasons. Number one, it was sad that Michael had to sit there and couldn't speak, and it's sad that management thought it was important for the guy that couldn't speak to still be there.
That's the thing. That's the sadder part. They thought we need to have basically Weekend at Bernie's Michael sitting there,
right?
Just so people don't.
No, but nobody would show up. For Peter and Don, nobody will show.
Now, for those that are listening on the radio,
sure.
Don's wearing a what is that, Peter?
It's like a Home Alone crew neck sweater that has like little lights on it that light up, red and green.
Yeah. And
then he's wearing semi-matching Home Alone pajama pants.
Yeah, it's a good look.
Yeah, when I got at the Target today, because the plan, I told Michael, I didn't tell you, Peter. I said, you know what, maybe I'm going to class this up. And I'm just going to show up in a suit.
I thought about it.
And then I talked to Russ, and Russ like, that's not you, man. It's not. You're not going to feel comfortable. It's not going to hit right. Just be you. It's a celebration. So I'm like, this is more me, right?
Yeah, no, this is you.
I think you could pull off a suit.
No, it's not the pulling off the suit. I could pull off a damn good suit.
Yeah.
I look good in a suit. But,
I've seen it.
But this is a party crowd. Why stand out like that?
Now, Don, did it cross your mind? You know, we have the great DJ Juanito here on the ones and twos. Yeah, there you go. Make some noise for DJ John.
When does he go with John and when does he go with Juanito?
Yeah.
He's usually DJ Juanito, but at 7:40 every morning he's DJ John.
Okay.
We don't know why. Did you consider there you go. Did you consider a song today?
Yeah, I did.
But
I don't know if we can do it now with the DJ.
What do you mean? It's easier to do it with the DJ probably.
Well, how is he going to be able to play a song with no vocals?
That's DJ John. That's DJ Juanito.
He could do a karaoke?
DJ John.
He's taking pictures. He can't be bothered.
If Don had a song, could you get the karaoke version for him to perform on it? Any song. Yeah, he said yes. See?
All right, we'll do it then.
You have the Serato stems, right? Yeah, we got you. Who wants Don to sing on the last show ever? You kidding me?
There is something to it.
I Will Remember You? Is it going to be like one of the ASPCA commercials?
Oh, no. It can't be something slow.
No.
Something happy.
Of course.
No, I know how you split the difference. You go changes. Sabbath.
And what, change the lyrics to Christmas?
No.
No, you want me to perform it doesn't have to be a Christmas song.
No,
just a song. Oh.
It doesn't have to be a Christmas song. This is the last K show ever, man.
Michael would be upset if I did changes.
No, I don't.
But it's a slow song. It's not a metal song.
As of December 16th, you guys could do whatever you want.
This is why he's not going to get emotional. It's these reindeer games that he doesn't have to worry about anymore.
He doesn't want songs.
Don's going to sing.
No, I'm good. Do whatever you want.
No games, no picks. And by the way, speaking of picks, anybody catch the end of the game last night?
Thursday Night Football's big.
Thursday Night Football apparently is killing it for Prime. You guys are out on Al Michaels, I see, but a big win
By the way, coming back next year.
Oh, he's back?
Yep.
By the way, he should come back. He had a great year.
He did have a good year.
I did not like the way that game started for my Rams pick. For those of you who may not know, Michael made it his 2-point play because he's gutless. I made it my 3-point play because I am real man.
Three. And the Rams came through for you.
The Rams came through.
Yep.
Yeah. Felt really good.
Now, there happens to be some sports news. Devin Williams is a Yankee.
All right.
A top flight closer. So the Yankees get him from the Brewers, and they get him
favorite pitcher.
for Nestor Cortez and Caleb Durbin. Boy, the Yankees really sold that for a while. This guy is going to be our second baseman. Great bat-to-ball skills. He's in Milwaukee.
He's out.
He's out. So Devin Williams now, if you're a Yankee fan, this might be bad news. The Chicago Cubs acquired Kyle Tucker.
What the F?
So that was on everybody's wish list for the holidays, but it didn't turn out that way. The Cubs had really high-level minor league high draft picks that they could send to Houston, and they did. And there was always a part of me, I think I said on the air, I'd be surprised if the Astros would send such a great player to the Yankees. They still have to get by the Yankees.
Right.
They don't have to get by the Cubs.
No.
So now the Yankees, I guess, maybe that the Cubs have Kyle Tucker, maybe they take less from the Yankees to get Bellinger.
Maybe. But that was a tough one. I think a lot of the Yankee fans wanted him.
Yep.
But there's still a lot of moving and shaking going on for sure.
We'll continue to monitor it. We got some big guests today. And also,
eclectic guests.
we've got great sponsors that made this all possible. Sun Cruiser, vodka iced tea.
That's it.
Amazon Pickup. We love Amazon. Yingling. Flight by Yingling.
I like you pointing to each thing. This is nice.
Tommy's Tavern and Tap.
Yeah.
And I'm wearing their underwear right now, Shinesty.
Show us.
You want to see?
We want to see it.
You want to see?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm going to pass. That's
Yeah,
not the
that's
last
not a good
memory I
Oh.
want. Yeah.
That's not what anybody wants.
Nobody wants
Why?
that. I don't know why. What are some of the surprises that we could say, Peter? Don't we have a big-time superstar coming?
Yeah, I'll say it right now.
Say it.
I'll say it right now. Very excited. Tomorrow night is Saturday night's main event. WWE's massive primetime event that I'm very excited to be a part of on NBC tomorrow. And making his return to WWE after many, many years and making his debut on the Michael Kay Show right here in Clifton, New Jersey will be the Hall of Famer, Jesse the Body Ventura, ladies and gentlemen. That's the former governor to you and me.
Of Minnesota.
Yay!
Now, will Jesse be wrestling tomorrow?
He will not, I believe.
Okay.
You never know.
Although, you know what? You ask him about some of the people he doesn't care for so much. I'm sure it's on the table. But very excited. And then we'll have some other random surprises pop up throughout the day as well.
Like what? Why don't you tell us?
That's not. Let me explain the thing about surprises. I don't know how things are going to work on the future K show, but here that means surprise.
My brother ran into Shane McMahon last night, and he wished us well on our last show, and he's going to miss us.
We like to call him Shane O'Mac.
I love that Shane O'Mac was aware of that.
So you were surprised? I guess you would be the one to know. I wasn't taken aback by it the way you were.
I haven't seen him in a while. He's always very friendly. I didn't know how much he actually listened. I know he lives in Tribeca. It's really cool that he actually listens. Have you heard from any greats or near greats of the industry to show their love?
A lot of people. You know who DM'd me?
Who DM'd you?
Nick Totoro.
Oh, really?
And he said, please tell Don I was just being emotional. I think you said something about Nick's...
yeah, he looked like a crazy person.
Well, he said...
Am I wrong? Anybody seen Nick Totoro lately? He's out of his mind. Yes. He had a baseball bat threatening Juan Soto.
It was a bit much.
If anything ever happened to Juan Soto, Nick Totoro would be a suspect.
Tell Don I'm just blowing off steam at social media. Anyways, the Yankees will be okay. Hope you're doing well.
Aw.
There you go.
That is really special. How about this one? I lost it now. I got to try to find it because we're getting so many.
What about the post from A-Rod?
Yeah, that's what I had.
Oh, sorry.
It just refreshed and disappeared on me.
Did you see A-Rod's lovely post?
No.
Yeah, A-Rod posted on Twitter and Instagram.
Really?
Yeah.
About the show?
Yes, in about 30 or 40 minutes. Don will pull it up and read it.
Well, no, because I had it already, and then we've been getting so many.
See, then you got to download the app.
Right. And you don't have the internet.
It was right here, and then
Wi-Fi.
It was refreshed on me.
It was a lovely.
Congratulations on an amazing 22-year run. Michael Kay, Peter Rosenberg, Don LaGreca, your show was a must-listen for true New York sports fans. You three never disappointed.
Wow.
Yeah.
The Rod.
Rodriguez.
The Rod.
The Rod. The big Rod.
All right, so since this is the end of the show, Don, do you remember the first show where you really didn't participate that much?
Oh, I'll never forget it.
Please tell everybody.
I remember it as much as I remembered like yesterday's show. That's how fresh in my mind it was. So all these pinhead suits, I don't know.
Some of them will be here.
Some of them will be, but whatever. They did it. They made their bed. Now they got to lie in.
Right.
Now Michael was probably at Yankee Stadium, but he was not in studio. So they tell me, Don, big opportunity for you to co-host with Michael Kay. Hang in there and do a show with Michael Kay. And I'm thinking, wow, that's really cool, man. Voice of the Yankees, get to do a show with Michael Kay.
Why not? Hey.
So I sit there, and we did 2 shows, back-to-back days. The first show, Michael says to me, so I hear you're a big hockey fan. I was like, yeah, love hockey. He's like, I put harness racing ahead of hockey. Let's go back to the calls. That was it. That was day 1.
You are a terrible person, man.
Day 2.
Look at you.
Day 2, if you remember ESPN, the made for ESPN movie about Coach Knight.
Yep.
I remember it.
And it was horrible. So you asked me, Don, did you see it last night? I said, yeah, it was horrible. He's like, ooh, look at Don going after the network.
Boy, and was that a portent of things to come?
So So the Yankees last night. So those are the first 2 days.
Now,
So I hate his guts, and I want him dead. I'm like, this piece of garbage is ruining my opportunity, Peter. I got a chance to do a show with Michael Kay. He spoke to me twice and didn't even barely let me respond.
Well, and by the way,
what an animal.
Now, and by the way, the two things he said, one was intentionally disrespecting your passion.
Intentionally disrespecting.
The second was calling attention to upper management. Hoping you'd get canned.
Now, Michael, why don't you tell everybody what you were told about Don LaGreca's opportunity to work with Michael Kay?
Well, they told me we have this guy, Don LaGreca, and we'll have him in the studio because, you're going to be at the stadium and on the road, and in case the line drops out, he's there to take over. They didn't say he was a co-host. They didn't say incorporate him into anything. So that was what was... And this has happened throughout the years, where they bring somebody on the show, and they tell them one thing, and they tell me another, and then they say, here... go swim in the deep end.
This was early on. The story we're telling you is technically before the actual Michael Kay show came to be on July 15th, 2001. But it was the first interaction I had with Michael on the air. So I was just an insurance policy because back in 01, the technology of working remote was a little sketchy, especially for our company at that particular time that had to pay 86 cents a minute on ISDN. So having somebody as an insurance policy back at the studio was probably a good idea.
Was it really 86 cents a minute on ISDN?
It was ridiculous.
Wow.
But you know what? We made it work. Eventually I did updates, and it's because of Michael Kay that I was able to have the career that I did. When they put us together on July 15th of 02, I was the update guy. And Michael did the show. But Michael would ask me things, bring me in, and then eventually it got comfortable enough where I became a co-host. And the only way that happens, Peter, is if you have a host that doesn't have an ego, a host that's going to allow people to grow around them. Because he could have just treated me like a yo-yo update guy and not talk to me.
And so who was the host that you're talking about?
That's this guy. This guy.
I'm talking about Michael Kay.
Wow.
Well, there's different types of ego.
That's right.
But this particular ego was, hey, this guy's pretty good at what he does. It's difficult doing a show by yourself. I trust that if I throw him in, he's not going to derail the show. Peter, that doesn't happen unless Michael allows it to happen. He never had any motivation to do it.
No.
Thus the reason, he's moving on. He's not going to allow anybody to talk on his 1 to 3 show.
But now, 22 years later, I feel that I'm finally capable of doing a show alone.
That's it.
Yeah.
So you don't need anybody.
And by the way,
And
let's check back in a few months.
And make no mistake, I'm not kissing up. Like, he didn't need me. But I thought he looked and said, I think this guy can bring something to the table on the show.
Everything you're saying right now, because today's the day where we lift it all up and show everything.
Yeah, what do we like to lose here?
I mean, well, you and I still have to do a show together on Monday. We'll be fine, though. Well, the beauty of Kay is, you said no ego. That is not true. Whenever he says, I have no ego, I hate myself, I disagree with that. Michael definitely has an ego. He definitely likes it being the Michael Kay show. He enjoys being Michael Kay on the Michael Kay show, blah, blah, blah. But he also does have an unusual generosity where he does not feel any sort of jealousy to see his partner shine. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Like Michael wants to be king of the mountain. He's counting down the seconds. He thinks Don and I have gotten way too big for our britches. He's ready for the next Michael Kay show, January 6th, 1 to 3 right there on 880 AM. But when we shine, no one seems to take more joy in it than Michael Kay. That is the conundrum, the complexity that is Michael Kay.
So that would lead me to believe that you're full of crap when it comes to me having a big ego.
Go ahead.
Why would I have that generosity of spirit if I had a big ego?
Well, because here's what I'll say: you're so on top of the mountain that Don can have a great day, Peter can have a great day, we can have great moments. At the end of the day, without Michael Kay, it's just the show. I just think I didn't say you were much to the chagrin of Phil Mushnick. You're not actually translucent. You don't. A translucent, someone who's really, really thin-skinned, is scared that his co-host will outshine them. That is not your ego. I think you like being the man whose name is on the marquee. I think you like having your friends who do the show with you shine. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
The point is, Michael, we're trying to say in a roundabout way is that even though we bust your you-know-whats and you can be a pain in the also you-know-what,
A lot.
you're a great guy. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah. So we have out a top 10 list, which almost speaks to what Peter said. Most of the list is Don screaming, and we just got out of your way.
It's not, I'd say it's like 40% of the list, perhaps.
No.
You want to go over the list? I'll go over right now.
But I don't think I was just screaming. I was saying things of import.
Hey, by the way, Flight by Yingling is
There
a
it
proud
is.
partner of the ESPN New York Holiday Party, which we're all enjoying right now. You have the top 10 list, Peter?
I will in a second.
Why is it taking so long?
There it is. Look, it's the first thing on Awful Announcing today.
Oh, you're using their list, not ours?
Oh, I was using the Awful Announcing list. Do we have our actual list also?
It's somewhere. Do the awful announcing.
Well, here's
Now
what
that he's actually here, we should bring him on.
I'll tell you what Awful Announcing had to say. All right. It's the end of an era. After 22 years, the K-Show as we know it has come to an end on ESPN Radio in New York. Blah, 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 blah. The number 10 moment, according to Awful Announcing, September 15th, 2015, Peter Rosenberg's first day on the Michael K. Show.
How could that be number 10? It's got to be so much higher.
Well, you're joking a little bit.
No, I mean it.
Here's what's crazy. Okay, I want everyone to remember, okay? Love me, hate me, think I'm average, think I'm great. I've been on the show for 9 years, and I'm the biggest change that ever happened after the start of the show. Here's what's ahead
Well, that lasted. There were bigger changes. But they didn't work out.
They didn't work out, though. All right, here's what's ahead of me.
I've never said the Peter situation. The Bonnie situation.
Is a situation. See, if you know, you know. Number 9. You guys may not remember this. October 16th, 2012. Donald Trump joins the Michael K. Show. You remember? No, we're not talking politics.
He wasn't the president.
He was just hosting The Apprentice. Like, that was not the 9th biggest moment ever in the show.
But that was the thing that catapulted him to the president.
Is that what it is?
Oh,
Yeah.
so you're saying this moment wasn't big for the K Show.
It was big for Donald Trump.
And for the nation.
But that'll be on his list of.
And the world.
And the world.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I disagree with that. I mean, I'm pretty sure I remember those days. You guys were station number 31 out of 42 that Donald Trump had to call during his apprentice run. But, okay, number 8, another great moment. December 13th, 2019, Edith from Mawa joins the Michael K. Show.
So we are at the 5th anniversary. Then today's December 13th.
Can we recreate that, Don? I'll be you.
All right. So this is what happened 5 years ago today.
That's Edith. Leaving him hanging.
No,
Leave me
it's so much worse than that.
Good looking
Wow,
man.
so Uncle Dan's been gone 5 years. That's incredible, no, Michael?
If 5 years doesn't seem like
that
it.
is, yeah, because that we were doing it at Buffalo Wild Wings. I had a flight to like Anaheim after the show. Crazy day. Sam Darnold was there. That was a crazy holiday.
Oh, I believe I had a great day that day.
We'll only be topped by this. Don't worry.
No wonder your show is number 1.
Jess just showed it because Jess loves it.
Oh, it's the best clip of all time. Rest in peace, Edith. And again, I love that moment. I don't know if it supersedes my entire existence on the show, but it's okay. Number 7, January 25th, 2018. Michael K. eats a Whopper. Do you guys remember the moment?
Some of my greatest days were days I had Whoppers.
It's a hell of a day. Number 6, Michael K. becomes the James Dolan Whisperer. That's how Awful Announcing described it.
I was the one that asked him about Phil.
Yeah, ask Phil, he said.
April 1st, 2005. I don't believe we're supposed to talk about this on the air.
No, I'm surprised this.
The Mike Piazza prank.
Yeah, that wasn't good. It was one of the worst days
That's
ever.
not. I almost quit.
It was really bad, right?
Well,
really bad.
I said I don't do April Fool's stuff. I think it's terrible. So they decided to do an April Fool's thing.
Wait, who was they?
I think it was Aaron Spielberg.
Aaron
right?
Spielberg, who was disciplined and pulled off the show and made program director.
Because at our
That's an
station,
interesting punishment.
we fell up.
Wait, wait, hold on. He produced your show at the time?
Yes.
And what he did was so egregious
Yes.
that they gave him a better
promotion.
title and promoted him to program.
Right.
Yes.
Interesting.
Now you're up to 5, right?
Yeah.
Let's hold off on those because we have to break.
All right, let's do it.
Because we have a special guest
We
coming
sure
up
do.
next, and we want to do that and do it right.
We'll get through.
We got a lot of stuff to do, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Don, tell us what happens when you go in your bath nude.
bells jingle all the way.
So please tell me who is going to score the touchdown for the Jets first.
Let's go with the numbers. Matt Forte.
Matt Forte? Matt Forte doesn't play for the Jets.
Oh, let's go with Robbie Anderson. Is he on the DL?
Well, he might not play.
All right, Robbie Anderson, thanks. All right, that's your guy. Put him on hold. Let's move on.
No. How many chances you get? Matt Forte's not a Jet. Robbie Anderson didn't practice. Tough. How many guesses? Should he get 7, Andrew? Let's give him 12. My God, we're giving you a chance to win money, and you call up and you don't know who's on the team? You don't know the rules? Oh, keep picking. Keep picking. I don't know, Sid Luckman. I'll go with Sid Luckman. Give me Joe Namath. I think Joe Namath will. Don Maynard. Let's go with Don. Morons. I can't take it. Put him on hold. Take it. That's what he gets. And I hope Robbie Anderson doesn't play. I hope he doesn't play. My dear Matt Forte.
What was his last
name? Why not Jameis Winston? Jameis Winston. You know what? How about this? How about Jameson Winston? I think Jameson Winston's going to score the touchdown. My God, it's weird with your tolerance. It really is. But a guy does roll call, you want to stab him in the chest. Meanwhile, a guy wants to get a dozen moron guesses, and you keep letting him pick.
Well,
will you pick a high ground and stick with it, for God's sake?
He couldn't give him Matt Forte. He doesn't exist.
Oh, my.
He doesn't exist.
So you give him another chance? He should have been stuck with Matt. It should have been Matt Forte. Thanks for calling. You're a loser. You give him a second guess, Robbie Anderson, who hasn't practiced all week, and you're like, well, maybe if he plays, well, let's give him a third chance.
Well, he hung up. So we're going to take another contestant.
Why? No, he's Robbie Anderson.
We don't have his information.
Wait, you hear what I'm saying, Peter?
No, I hear
the things that he has no tolerance for. The things that he has no tolerance for.
You ever seen the movie Falling Down?
Yes.
This is that moment.
But I don't understand.
This is when
a guy says, "Hi, Peter. I love your work at Hot 97." You disconnect the guy. A guy called up and said, "Matt Forte, who hasn't played for the Jets all year." Maybe he thought they were playing the Bears from last week when Forte was a Bear. All right. So obviously, maybe he had a mini stroke. So you give him a second chance. And he says, Robbie Anderson, guy hadn't practiced all week. And all of a sudden, Mr. Tolerance over here is like, well, he hasn't practiced. Let's give him a third opportunity.
I'm not even going to look at this
meanwhile, somebody calls up and says, hey, Don, I love the fact that you went to Rampo College. Click.
Peter, see if you understand.
Click.
Don doesn't quite get how the bills are paid. This is a sponsored giveaway.
Well, right. I'm
so
treating
there has
it
to
with
be
respect.
And there's also legalese that's involved where you actually have to take a real contestant. But Don lives in his own little planet Uranus.
What does that have anything to do?
Because I can't take a guy who says Matt Forte when he's not on a Jet 53 man.
So get another. All right. So fine, you gave him another chance. He says Robbie Anderson hadn't practiced all week, and you're like, well, he hasn't practiced all week. At what point do you move on?
I was going to take him, but he hung up. So here's the deal, everybody.
No, when he said Matt Forte, you go to somebody else. You have to take somebody, not somebody who's going to have a yo-yo guess and play with us.
Again,
we're giving away money.
Let me talk to you, Peter.
I know.
So Andrew puts on one pigskin payoff guy. So if that guy happens to, take Walter Payton as his guess, there's not another pigskin payoff guy lined up there. So what I'm going to do, is his face still red? I'm going to go 1-800-919-3776, and I'll do this again so you have an opportunity to pick the Jet that's going to actually score the first touchdown. Okay. I'm trying to keep this all together, Peter.
No, I understand. And it was an emotional time.
It really wasn't. He turned it into
lunacy. I have to sit here. 3 days? I have to sit here. Because Peter won't have my back, even though time and time again I have him.
I had your back just yesterday.
Why is he doing this? Why is he being like this?
I have to sit here with the uncomfortability of you disconnecting people because they're too nice to us for too long. And meanwhile, we're getting trolled, and you just hang with it.
No.
I wanted that person
Now
punished.
you're saying it's a troll, or he just didn't know what was going on?
Well, all right, either one. Either we're getting trolled or it's the king of all yo-yos. Either one we're not dealing with,
Anybody that wants to be a troll and give up a chance at $500, God bless them.
Then Matt Forte, RJ, lock it in, and I'll anxiously anticipate Matt Forte scoring on Sunday for the Jets. But no, you give him another opportunity. So who does he guess? The guy that we just talked about hasn't practiced all week. And then you say, well, he hasn't practiced all week, so let's give him a third chance.
If it wasn't for me, we'd be going down the roster from the 76 Jets to find a guy that could play. And I can't believe I can't get anybody to realize that I'm in the right here.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Mr. Scully, it's Michael, Don, and Peter. How are you today?
Well, I'm fine, and I trust that Michael, Don, and Peter are the same. It's nice to chat with the three of you. I don't mean to interrupt your conversation about basketball, but, you know, there is a Vin Scully Lifetime Achievement Award, which has been sponsored for 11 years now by WFUV and Fordham University, and it's my pleasure to announce for the first time that the recipient of the 11th award goes to none other than Michael Kay. And, of course, you now are the product of WFUV. You've moved on to great heights with the Yankees. And from all of us, welcome to the club and congratulations.
Wow. I am beyond honored. I'm humbled. And, I mean, I'm sorry, but my name should not be connected with your name in any way, shape, or form. But the fact that I've been chosen for this will be something that I will cherish for the rest of my life. Just to have my name on an award that is named after you, I'm almost speechless, which is rare for me, but it's one of the great moments of my life. Thank you so much.
Well, you know, I don't award. In other words, they really keep it clean. The first recipient of the award was me, so I didn't think I deserved that at all. But as the years have gone by, you have joined, I mean, some of the great voices, some of the great talents that the industry has ever produced. I mean, we're talking about people like Dick Enberg and Bob Costas and Al Michaels. And there are just so many. And as I said, we're all delighted to have Michael Kay pull up a chair.
Oh, wow. Well, I'm going to save that forever, that cut of you just saying that, and I'm going to play it on my phone over and over until I'm 110 years old. It'll be my ringtone.
Yeah. Vin, exactly how many other great broadcasters were busy before you got to Michael?
Oh, wow.
No, you know what? Honestly, it was a clean sweep from what I've heard.
Well, thank you so much.
99.9%.
Again, I can't believe it. So thank you, and thank you to the people at WFUV at Fordham. I really don't know what to say.
It's a pretty amazing thing. Well, I know what to say. Vin, how are you enjoying retirement? Do you have any weird feelings about the baseball season starting tomorrow, or are you completely used to it now and comfortable?
You know, the word that would describe me the most right now would be content. I truly feel in my heart I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. It was a great ride, 67 years doing big league baseball, and I loved every minute of it. But when the time came when I started thinking seriously about the fact I was going to come up to be 90, and I also thought, you know, you've had so many great yesterdays, but how many tomorrows do you have left? And I opted to go for the tomorrows. And as I said, I'm enjoying every minute of it.
I thought one of the great moments of last year was when you came out for the World Series games. I just thought the Dodgers did such a wonderful job, and it must have been such a kick for you to hear that love from the crowd, which, you know, you felt that throughout your whole career, but then to come back and obviously they still miss you. What was that like standing on the field and calling out Valenzuela?
Well, I was all tongue-in-cheek, and my first thought after they asked me to do it was to be brief, or brief as possible, without just letting it go down the drain. And I tried to do that. But, you know, I've had such a great career, and I know that the force behind the career was the Lord himself. I don't take that for granted at all. So I'm just extremely thankful for having done what I have done, and I'm grateful for whatever is left as I look back at years of enjoyment, friendships, and now Michael Kay is another one of them.
Well, thank you so much. During the World Series, I just wondered about this. Did you have an itch to call the game?
No, not really, in all honesty. One of the strange feelings, you know, when you're broadcasting a big league game, basically you're pretty much behind home plate. but they had us in the owner's suite, which was lovely. However, the owner's suite at Dodger Stadium is past third base and down the left field line. And all of a sudden, I'm watching a game sideways instead of full on. And I didn't enjoy that at all because I couldn't tell whether I thought the pitcher had good stuff. I couldn't tell balls hit in the air. I couldn't judge where they were, whether the outfielders could catch them. So it was a very strange experience. I enjoyed the fact that they had us there. We were honored to be there. But actually, the sideline was not much fun for me at all.
I'd heard rumors that Joe Buck and Fox wanted you to come in and do as many innings, if the whole game, if you wanted to, then that you turned it down. Was that rumor true? And if so, why did you turn it down?
Well, yes, it was true. Joe was a terrific guy, and I loved Jack, his father. In fact, Jack and I had many a laugh together over our years together. And Joe was being very thoughtful and kind and generous. After all, when you're doing the World Series, that's the spotlight. That's the high of your career. And for him to say, we would like to have Vin come and do it, I truly appreciated it. But I also turned him down for one reason. I didn't feel that I belonged there. I hadn't slugged it out all year, all the nights and days on the road, everything that goes with the job. And although it was nice of them to consider me, I thought to myself, no, Scully, you don't belong there. You belong watching the game quietly with your wonderful wife, and that's a thrill enough for me.
Vin, what do you miss most about doing the games?
You know, people have asked me that, and the honor is, for me, the roar of the crowd. If I had a trademark, it would be to try and call a play as quickly and as accurately as possible, and then shut up and let the crowd react. I learned to love the crowd when I was growing up in Washington Heights. I would be under a radio listening to a football game. This was long before radio broadcasts. And I'd hear a football game, Tennessee, Alabama. Had no idea about anything. But when someone scored a touchdown and the crowd roared, I would get goosebumps. And this would be starting about 8 years old. And I found out that it's not exactly the source of life. But when I was doing baseball, I would shut up, the crowd would roar, and I'd be, for at least a few seconds, I'd be 8 years old again. And eventually, a writer wrote a column, and after one of the World Series games, there was a home run, which I called, but then they were going to replay it on tape, and I thought, well, why would I want to call it again? I just called it, so I shut up. And sure enough, the writer wrote that perhaps Vin Scully made his greatest contribution by his silence. And I thought to myself, you know, that's exactly how I feel. So I still, in this lifetime, I still make my greatest contribution by shutting up.
Well, we're not going to let you shut up for a couple more minutes. I've always wanted to ask you this. Who's the greatest player that you ever saw with your own eyes?
Well, you know, I do have to put some parameters on it because basically I really saw the National League.
Right.
The American League was, in those days, you only saw them in the World Series. And so the greatest single player, with so many others directly behind it, but the best all-around player in the National League that I saw would have to be Willie Mays. When he first came up in those years where he was truly magnificent, I do know I watched Mays, who, of course, is a Hall of Fame center fielder, but I watched him take infield, and he could have been an infielder. He had everything, speed, quick feet, great hands, marvelous arm. So he could have played, I think, almost anywhere on the field, maybe with the exception of pitching. So in the National League, he'd be number one, but oh my gosh. I mean, Roberto Clemente, Henry Aaron, the list goes on and on. And of course, being a New Yorker, even though I was a Giants fan, I truly admired Joe DiMaggio and then Mickey Mantle.
Vin, there's been so much talk about pace of play, Major League Baseball trying to institute rules. Did you find there was a problem with pace of play towards the end of your career?
No, I didn't really. I do. I'm not too happy about the way the game is being played now. When I started, and for many years, the starting pitcher took the ball with the aim of pitching 9 innings. If he didn't go 9, okay, they'd come and rescue him in the latter innings. Today, it seems like the starting pitcher goes to the mound, and with 1 or 2 exceptions, he goes 5, and everybody thinks he's great. And then 7 pitchers come in to get through the game. That's probably where the issue is, the time involved. But you know what? I mean, I was a fan growing up in the bleachers and the Polo Grounds. So as a fan, I remember years ago, Larry Jansen was pitching against a pitcher named Charlie Red Barrett, and the time of game was like an hour and 40 minutes. And I came home grumbling. I was so unhappy that the game was played that fast. So I don't know if the fans are really unhappy about it. The broadcasters are. The writers are. Some people who work in the business would like the games to be shorter, but I'm not sure if it really thrills the fans or not.
Vin, during the time around your retirement, so many people were professing their admiration for you. And being in Los Angeles, which is a place filled with so many important stars and influential people, were there any people who came and told you about what you meant to them that totally took you aback, that you were such an impact on them?
You know, in all honesty, the entire year of 2016 took me aback. And one interesting point about it, not to dodge your question, but when I was 8 years old, that was the year, and maybe, coming up 9, I was coming home from grammar school, and I went by a Chinese laundry, I'll never forget, and there was the line score of the 1936 World Series, and if I remember, the final score was something like Yankees 18 and the Giants 4 or 5, something like that. And my reaction was, oh, those poor Giants. Well, my grammar school was about 20 blocks from the Polo Grounds, so being now a new converted Giants fan, I grew up going to the stadium, the Polo Grounds, that is, and I became a Giant fan from 1936. Okay, the big thing that was important, 80 years to the day, my last game involved the San Francisco Giants against the Dodgers. So it seemed like the book of instruction was laid out for me, and all I had to do was read it. So from 1936 to 2016, that's a long 80, and I loved every minute of it.
That's not fair to keep you on. It's not fair to keep you on forever, but I've always wanted to ask you this. You became friends with Jackie Robinson, personal friends. Did he ever speak about how much he was hurt by all the hatred when he came up in 47?
No, not to my knowledge. I mean, I was a good pal, but not an intimate pal.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't Don Newcomb or Roy Campanella, someone who would be with Jack a lot. But we were good friends, and I admired him immensely. And I know he knew of my admiration because I saw a little bit of what he went through in my rookie year in spring training. In my first year, we went from Vero Beach, Florida to Brooklyn by way of Texas. And we stopped all over the United States, especially in the southern part. And I saw things that made me grimace. I couldn't believe that Jackie could go through his business, but he did. And I often told him how much I admired him. It was unbelievably difficult for him, or for others who played with him. I mean, there's often the story of Pee Wee Reese going over and putting his arm around Jackie. But another that I remember, we were in St. Louis, high foul ball off first base, Gil Hodges coming over to make the catch, and Jackie Robinson right behind him, and a whiskey bottle came out of the upper deck and just missed hitting Gil Hodges in his face. There was as much pressure on his teammates in some instances as there was on Jack, and everybody held up to it. It was a marvelous thing to see men really acting like men.
Vin, I want to thank you, A, for coming on, and B, mostly, I am so humbled and honored to be named the recipient of this award. I think you know how I feel about you and how everybody in the broadcast industry feels about you. I'm at the point of being choked up, and I don't want to cry on the air, but this is certainly a highlight of my life, and I want to thank you for actually coming on the air and telling me personally. I'm just blown away.
Well, believe me, Michael, it's my honor to present you with the award and also have a chance to say hello to Don and Peter as well. It's been my pleasure, and I know you're looking at the clock, so it's time for me to do what I do best. Shut up.
All the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Vin.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
I almost deleted my Twitter account. This is the closest I ever came. I wasn't even angry. I just said the amount of cesspooliness on this social media is unbelievable. So let me explain what happened. We're doing the Yankee game, right? Yankees are up 6-1. So we are following the Met game, and we know the Mets are being no-hit. Now, let's just get it all out in the open here. There's one of two things you could do. You cannot say it, figuring that with social media, with the apps and everything, people that know are going to switch. And if you're a Met fan, you're watching the Met game anyway. Or you could say, hey, just want to tell you, the Giants are 3 outs away from no-hitting the Mets over at Citi Field. Now, when you say that, Don, what you're doing is you're telling everybody who's watching your game on Yes, turn to SNY. That's exactly what you're saying. So John Filippelli, our vice president, said, tell everybody that the game is going on and that they're being no-hit.
No, it's the right thing to do.
The right thing to do, but other people might not do it. The right thing to do. So I did it. And you know what happens on Twitter? You piece of garbage. You jinxing the no-hitter. How dare you say that? You know you're not supposed to say that. Now I jinx no-hitters that I'm not even calling. That are happening across the RFK bridge. That's how good I am. I started answering tweets while I was broadcasting. So are you really serious? That was almost the last straw. These are some of the people that you're talking with that as a broadcaster on another game where you do the right thing that could hurt your network and hurt your ratings, that you're jinxing a no-hitter.
So I guess the Yankee fan was upset because they wanted the Mets to get no hit. So that was a Yankee fan ripping you for jinxing the no-hitter.
Some of these were just baseball fans that I was doing it on purpose to jinx the no-hitter. Like I could have that kind of effect 11 miles away. But let's get to the big story.
Yes.
The Mets were no-hit.
Yes.
And you being a lifelong Met fan, you probably, your father's spinning in his grave like on a rotisserie right now. You're cheering for the Mets to be no-hit. I don't get it.
In the ninth.
But why?
Because they're down 5-0. I've got my wife doing her best Leo Mazzoni impression, rocking back and forth, so nervous that her team has a chance to pitch a no-hitter.
But this isn't the Mets. They've had no-hitters in the last 3 years.
But listen, my wife was happy. I had never seen a no-hitter. I've got no hatred for the Giants. But
you have love for the Mets.
But somebody tweeted P-Grass HB. So when Tony Romo throws 8 touchdowns in one game, for the record, I know us Cowboy fans will have Donnie happy. No, because I hate the Cowboys. I don't want anything good to happen to the Cowboys. I got no hatred for the Giants.
But you love the Mets.
I love
and the Mets got embarrassed.
But they're embarrassed anyway, because even if they hit a little infield grounder and don't get no hit, is it going to make the loss seem any different? You're down 5-0 in the ninth inning. I had never personally seen a no-hitter. So I wanted to be able to see that. Forget history, because you can't call something history that happens 2-3 times a year, but I had never seen a no-hitter live. And
Ryan,
my wife is a huge fan, so you know what? Down 5-0. If they had a chance to win the game down 1, down 2, then maybe there's a possibility. 5-0. You know what? I wanted to see something I had never seen before.
I don't even know you anymore.
You know what? I totally agree with Don on this.
Oh, my God.
Because what does he care if they get one hit in the ninth inning? What does that do for Don?
I went to a baseball game to see my team win. That wasn't going to happen. They had no hope of winning that game, all right? Heston struck out the side looking to get the no-hitter. It's a ridiculous performance by the Mets. So it's 5-0. It's an ordinary game. If they get a single, they lose 5-0. I went and saw a baseball game, and I wasn't really entertained because my team lost. but they're going to lose the game anyway. I'd never seen a no-hitter before, and my wife is thrilled. And you should understand that. But, Jody, you know, the things that I would do to just give Nancy 3 seconds of happiness. I'm carving off a pinky to give her 5 minutes of happiness because that's my wife. So if I'm sitting there in a game in June, down 5-0 in the 9th inning, if I've got a chance to see something I'd never seen before and see my wife thrilled, she could have skipped home down to Henry Hudson last night. She was so thrilled. I don't regret it for a second. It doesn't make me an awful Met fan, and I don't care what anybody says. Tweet me, kill me, try to kill me at Citi Field. Throw something at me. I dare you. I don't care. I have no regrets whatsoever. I would do it again if I had the opportunity. It wasn't like I went into the building saying, boy, I hope the Mets get no hit tonight. I went into the building hoping the Mets would win, and I was hoping that they would get a hit at some point during the course of the game. But once we got to the 9th inning and they were down 5-0, I said, you know what? We're here. Let's see it to fruition here. I'm not rooting for the Mets to lose, per se. And again, I told Ryan this scenario. He had hit 3 batters, including Recker, to lead off the 9th inning. If for some reason he ended up walking the next 2 batters, the next 3 batters, and it becomes 5-1 with the bases loaded, I'm going to hope that the Mets get a grand slam home run to tie the game. I would like to see them win. But at that particular moment, you know what? Left with the choice of an infield single that breaks up the no-hitter and they still lose 5-0, or getting to see something I'd never seen before and have my wife and see my wife as excited as she was. I mean, that's part of the equation too, Michael. Here's the person I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, bubbling, excited, happy.
Don, but wait a second. I mean, in all fairness, Nancy's had an unbelievable run as a Giant fan. She has 3 championships in the last 5 years. She's had 3 no-hitters in the so this isn't. She's not starving for happiness as a Giant fan.
You're missing the point. I've seen no-hitters too, but to be there, to see it live. I mean, come on, you don't see the difference between sitting home watching the game on SNY and being in the ballpark to see the difference.
I honestly don't think I could sit there as a Yankee fan and root for the Yankees to be no-hit.
If it's interleague play and CC Sabathia's got a no-hitter going, I'm rooting for him to lose it because I can't stand the Yankees. Or if it's the Braves or the Phillies or a rival, but when it's a team that I have no hatred for and it's my wife's favorite team, it's a completely different story.
If it's a 5-0 game, and I know the Yankees have no chance of winning, Michael, and Felix Hernandez is on the hill, and there's 2 outs in the 9th, I'd be cool with him completing the no-hitter.
That makes less sense than Don. At least Don could fall back on the wife card.
No.
You're going to root for the Yankees to be embarrassed?
No, I'm sorry. It's so much less embarrassing to get shut out with one hit.
Is not part of forever.
You're right.
A no-hitter is part of forever.
You're totally right. I forgot. Growing up at my house, we would put the one-hitters on the fridge, and the no-hitters we'd throw in the trash because they were real accomplishments, those one-hit shutouts that we had thrown against us.
You're just proving that. So the one-hit shutout, you don't put on the refrigerator. That goes in the trash. The no-hitter's on the refrigerator.
Yeah, the other team's refrigerator. My refrigerator's dirty regardless.
You're right. I don't even know why. Like, Adrian, what if the Cowboys go 18-0 and is it in the Super Bowl? Would you pull for them 19-0 history?
Come on,
no, because I hate the Cowboys.
Yeah.
What are you not understanding here? It was the perfect scenario.
Why don't you bring this up to Dave tomorrow? Let's see what Dave will say.
I talked to Rothenberg about it, of course, because he's a mental patient.
Yeah.
He's like, how could you do that? Because he has no love for anybody. He doesn't love his wife or his children. They're props. His family's a prop for this garbage talk show host to actually get people interested in what he has to say. All right? They're props. His wife's a prop. All right?
Wow,
She's a cardboard cutout. I actually am in a relationship with a human being. And when that human being is happy, I'm happy. Because I'm a human being. I'm not a dog sniffing some other dog's butt. I'm a human being. And
so
I see my wife rocking back and forth like Leo Mazzoni, and I can give her a second of happiness. A second of it. I'm carving up other people's body parts to give her a second of happiness because I'm not married to page 6 on National Geographic stuck in my basement. I actually am married to a human being who I love. If you can't understand that, you'll be alone for the rest of your life. You'll die in a lawn chair in your living room watching the Mets on an 8x8-inch television set, dying of a heart attack, rotting like a corpse because nobody bothers to call to find out you died. A month later, the landlord's calling because of the stink that's coming out of your apartment because you got no job, you got no woman, you got no family, and you die alone. I will die very soon, unfortunately, at least knowing that somebody next to me loves and cares for me, not a cardboard cutout prop of a family. That's the Rothenberg and all the other people that don't like it. Good for the Giants. Good for Heston. Good for my wife. And you know what? Good for me.
You might die sooner after this.
And when you hear this phrase, this is leading me right into what we're talking about. It's time to do some truth-telling, everybody.
Yeah.
And it's something that Don and I have spoken about a lot. And people have said, well, you really shouldn't address it. But today it really came to a head because a couple of people called me up. And a lot of people are giving Mike Francesa grief today because he interviewed Alex Rodriguez and Alex lied to him. And I think that's ridiculous. You get the interview, you ask him the questions, which he did, and you could say, you can't force a guy to tell you the truth, whatever the case may be. But another friend of mine said that somebody called in and said, that A-Rod interview probably cost you the simulcast on Yes. And Francesa said, no, that's not the truth. They wanted a show where they could control the editorial, and I wasn't going to give them that. Well, I don't know how to say this without just being blunt. Mike's a liar, okay? Nobody controls this show but me and Don. That's it. That's it. We have never, ever, ever been called by anybody at Yes and critiqued on what we said or how we said it and the truth of what we said. Now, let me take that back. Let me take that back, Don. I was called once. The first show, when I dumped the Diet Coke in the garbage can. And my boss at Yes, who's been criticized for making that move, yelled at me, said, you're too classy to do that. That's the only time that anything ever on this show, John Filippelli called me up and was angry with me about. So to say that they wanted editorial control, you're lying, okay? You're trying to soften the blow that you got taken off a great network, and you're trying to say that we are a house organ. Sorry, you're wrong. You're wrong. They took you off of Yes for two reasons. Number one, over the years you ended up earning a lot of money, which you earned, and they were losing money on the show. Number two, okay, it's obviously the proper decision to have been made because our ratings are better than your ratings were when you were on Yes. And I'm going to give you a number three. Maybe they didn't want to broadcast a show where somebody was falling asleep on the air. That doesn't make great television. So don't you dare impugn my integrity and my reputation by telling people that the only reason that this show's on the air is because we are told what to say and what not to say. One more time, if you say that, I need proof, and you can't give me proof because you're lying. Period. I don't want to get into a hissing war with you. I know the whole number one. I get it. I get it. But the bottom line is don't lie about me. Don't lie about this guy. Proof positive. Opening day of this year, what did you wear on the air?
Wore a Met hat.
How long?
All day
Did anybody
long.
tell you
Not
anything?
a soul.
You think that pleased the Yankees that he wore a Yankee hat on a Met hat on the Yes Network?
It was my avatar on Twitter and is still my Facebook page.
And he comes on and says he doesn't like the Yankees. He roots against them.
Say
and
it all the time.
This is a show that they control the editorial. Again, Mike, you're lying. You're trying to cover your backside while you were taking off the simulcast. I told you why. Has nothing about state-run radio. I take a lot of stances against the Yankees.
A lot.
Stances that they don't like. Nobody tells us what to do. And when we accepted this show and ESPN and Yes negotiated, it was made very clear nobody could tell them what to say. And it was agreed upon. So for you to put that information out, it's misinformation. And I don't know why you're doing it. You're a successful guy. You have the number one sports talk show in the country, although we're closing fast. And you're making up lies why this show is on Yes. This show's on Yes because it's better than yours. It's a better visual show, too, and the ratings prove it. So please stop. Stop the nonsense about they wanted something where they control the editorial. It's a filthy, downright lie. Nobody controls the editorial except for these two guys. Get it? Understand and stop it, because now you're playing with my integrity, my reputation, and I'm not taking it anymore. And I've been told by a lot of people, let it go, you're above that. No, I'm not above that. I'll get in the mud and fight with you because you're lying about me. You're off the air for whatever reason you want to come up with. But I want proof. I want you to give me proof. I want you to give it on your show between naps when exactly we ever said anything that was editorially controlled by the Yankees or by Yes. Tell me when. Tell me one instance. I need proof. And I don't think you could do it because you're lying.
I'll tell you what ticks me off, too, Michael, is 13 years we've been doing this show together, and you're the voice of a team, and yet have to analyze and dissect and talk about that team. And you've been critical of the team, and you've ripped the team, and you've said some things that have been against what the team has because you have to do a talk show. And nobody has ever kicked back and said anything on the Yes Network. And I've said I'm no Yankee fan, and I wear the hat. But I didn't want the silence when all the critics are saying on how the only reason we're on the Yes Network is because you're the Yankee announcer and we're a bunch of yes guys, when it's not true. And I didn't want the silence to be out there because the silence is almost an admission of the truth.
Right.
And I did not want that to be out there. You did not want that to be out there. No one at the Yes Network has ever told me, oh, you got to kiss up to the Yankees. Don't be a Met fan anymore. No. They take the show for what it is, and that's why I appreciate it, have so much respect for it, and I'm proud of what we were able to do, and I'm proud that they never got in our ear and told us what to say and do, and it really bothered me that that perception was out there.
And the Alex Rodriguez thing, he's telling the truth, had nothing to do with that because that show was long gone off, yes, before the Alex Rodriguez thing ever took place. So please, whatever you want to make up, don't bring my name into it. Don't bring his name into it. This show's on the air on its merits. The ratings prove that on the television side. Our ratings are better than yours were at the same time this year on Yes and since we took over. So obviously they picked the better show. Not because they can control it editorial. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm sick of it. And just because you sit on your high horse and you think you could say anything and have people believe you, no, I'm not going to let that happen anymore. My silence is not going to be an admission because there is no admission. What you're saying is a lie. You are lying, okay? That is not why this show's on the air. And I want you to quote somebody who tells you that that show's on it. Use a name, don't say sources, and give me an exact couple of stories where we actually told or said something that the Yankees told us to say. You can't because it's a lie. And I'm not going to waste everybody's time, but I do want it out there. I'm not going to sit back and let this guy bloviate over and over and over again about something that's not the truth about me. Because my integrity is pretty important to me, and I don't lay down for somebody in order to get an interview with that person. We got scooped on the Alex Rodriguez interview. And you know why Alex went to Mike? Because Mike was supporting Alex the entire way, saying Major League Baseball was going out of its way to crucify Alex. He ripped the Yankees, too, about it. That's why Alex got there, because Alex had a nice soft landing, which he wasn't going to get here. I don't blame Alex. I don't blame Mike. I don't blame Mike for doing the interview. I don't blame Alex for lying. And I'm not saying it's Mike's fault that Alex lied. But what I get angry about is when somebody impugns my integrity and my ethics and what I'm about in my career. Because I could point chapter and verse times that you lay down for people that you're friends with other teams. So don't tell me that this is state-run radio. Not going to put up with it anymore. So you could take a walk with your attitude, with your bloviating. Keep my name out of your mouth because I'm sick and tired of it. I don't deserve it. I don't treat you like that. And you shouldn't treat other people like that. And maybe the way you treat people is another reason why Yes decided to kick your butt to the curb. We'll be back. Don't want to turn this into a referendum of the shows. Mike's got a lot of listeners, more than anybody, okay? This was just about him impugning my integrity and Don's integrity. We're not going to take it. He's lying about it. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, that's it. It's not about preference.
It's not about doing a 3-hour, 4-hour show on this. After a while, somebody's going to keep kicking at you. You're going to kick back. You know, I try to do this show in a classy manner. Don does as well. But again, don't attack my integrity. I'm not going to take it. You're lying about my integrity. I'm not.
Yeah, that was the last straw. You can't have things lied about you. You got to definitely defend yourself.
Yes only want, for those that tuned in late, Yes only wanted a show where they can control, the Yankees can control the editorial. While Don sat here on opening day with a Met hat on for 4 hours. Because I'm sure that Hal Steinman and Randy Levine and Lon Trost loved that. They loved it. But nobody called. Nobody said a word. So nobody's controlling any editorial. If you think they are, give me proof. Give me proof. I want proof. I want phone records. I want emails. I want proof. That's all. Because, again, integrity is a pretty important thing to me. I need proof if you're going to tear mine down. Let's go.
Hello?
What's up, Vin?
There we go. How you doing, guys?
Good. How are you?
Guys, I don't understand this Rogers thing. I just don't see it working. He's here for 1 year. Take his $58 million and run. He had the worst career he had the worst year of his career last year.
That was horrible.
He didn't throw for 300 yards once last year. Was 1-3 against the AFC. He got beat by the Lions twice. It's not the guy doesn't want to put in what it takes to win anymore. It's not like Tom Brady coming to Tampa. Tom Brady does everything he can to win. This guy's not working out. He's not doing nothing. He's not doing nothing.
But how do you explain 2 years ago he won the MVP? So he just lost that desire last year?
Back-to-back MVPs.
That's 2 years ago. 2 years ago was a long way when you're 38, 39,
Well, wait a minute.
40 years old.
He had an
Every year-
injured
No.
thumb.
One season ago, he won the MVP.
Right.
And then the year before that, he
Not
won the
last
MVP.
season, the season before.
Right, and the season
2
before
years
that,
ago.
and the
Right.
season before that. And here's my question: where would the
So
37?
what is he coming? What is he coming here to win an MVP or win a Super Bowl?
See, now you're changing the argument.
Well, you can
Where-
win the
Vinny,
MVP
Vinny,
and win a Super Bowl.
You can do both. Now, Vinny, tell me this: where would the 3,700 yards, 26 touchdowns over 12 picks put him in best Jets quarterbacking seasons? His down year last year.
But he won 8 games with the Packers. The Jets won 7 games with Zach Wilson.
It
and
would
Joe
have been
Flacco.
it would have been top 5 Jets quarterbacking seasons of all time.
Aaron
That's what it
Rodgers
would have
has
been.
those.
He still won 8 games last year. The Jets
Is he
won
playing
7
with the
games.
Is he playing with the Packers roster here or the Jets roster here?
Right, the Jets have a very good team that won 7 games in spite of their quarterback last year. If you put the exact same stats
Yeah,
with
who
Rodgers
did-
last year,
who did they
don't
beat,
talk
guys?
over
They
me. You don't win arguments
I
by
am
talking over
you. They
me.
beat
You
the
do not win
Dolphins with the
arguments
third-string
talking over me. You do not win arguments talking over me, okay? You lose them by listening. Because you're going to lose this one.
You listen to me.
No, I'm not going to listen to you because your comments are ignorant. He won back-to-back MVPs. If he threw for 3,700 yards and 27 touchdowns on the Jets last year, they win 11 games to make the playoffs. You won 7 games basically with no quarterback last year. What he did with the Packers last season is irrelevant because the Packers stunk and yet still almost made the postseason. You've got a great
Okay,
roster.
let me make my argument now.
Well,
The
go
Jets
because you're
won-
really doing an awful job.
Just let me make my argument. The Jets won a once-in-a-lifetime miracle against Cleveland. Okay? They
yes.
beat the Dolphins. Dolphins had their third-string quarterback.
Okay.
Every game they won was against the third stringer.
They
He
also
lost
You also
everybody-
beat the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen.
and lost a game to the Patriots that you
was
absolutely
of
shouldn't have
course,
lost.
It was in spite of Zach Wilson. I know. Everything's
Oh,
in
so,
spite
so
of Zach
look,
Wilson.
you know what? You just keep losing, man. You're having fun with
I'm
it.
not losing.
You
You
enjoy
guys don't know
being
what you're
miserable.
talking about.
No,
You don't know
because
what you're
you know
talking
what
about
scares
because
you?
he's here
It
for
scares
1
you
year,
as having a
and when
relevant
it's all
team.
over and he's
You
not
love
there-
just sitting there watching the Jets lose every Sunday and go, boy, do I wish I'd have a chance at a Super Bowl. Boy, wouldn't it be fun if my team was any good? Because you love being miserable, you love being disappointed, and you love just having that dark space in your heart. Instead of actually
it,
bringing
yeah.
in
You
an
got it.
actual
Well, Vinny,
quarterback
Vinny,
that can help you win games.
Let me ask you
because
something,
then your
Vin.
team's relevant. Then you have a chance to win, and you might get hurt. That's why,
Vinny,
man.
let me-
I could pick your brain apart, man. You need a psychologist.
Vinny, you want Zach Wilson as the quarterback?
I think he got done wrong last year.
All right, you know what? Goodbye, because you know what? I'm not having a conversation with someone that is that ignorant on the subject.
That was
sorry.
me. That was me who hit the drop button the second he said it.
I'm sorry. If you really that he got a bum rap. They gave him 2 opportunities. They benched him and then put him back in the game. He had some of the best receivers. Couldn't do anything with them. Stop. I'm telling you, I've got them figured out. They just love being miserable because you can't get hurt, Peter, when you sit in your troll home with a lawn chair instead of a couch, watching a TV on top of a broken TV. You can't be disappointed. You just go through life never being disappointed because your life is nothing. But now I'm giving you a gift of a chance. But you know what could happen with that chance? You might fail. You might fall. But you know what? At least you took a journey. At least you tried.
Now, Don.
Get off the lawn chair. Put the noodles down.
Yeah, but get
and
a couch.
experience life.
There's a story that has been written yesterday in The Athletic that detailed a lot of things that at this point no one is ready to confirm nor deny, but nothing is official. There are contracts that have to be signed and things like that. So there's nothing official whatsoever. And I blame people with loose lips that sink ships, and usually it's agents that can't keep their mouth shut and want to curry favor with Andrew Marchand, and they call them and tell them exactly what's going on before it's actually going on.
Almost exactly.
Yeah, all the time. And Andrew does a great job milking them and getting that information from them. And if I ever ran a company, I'd be like Lou Lamoriello. Don, tell everybody what Lou Lamoriello used to do.
All right, we have a deal in principle.
Right.
If this gets leaked out, the deal is nixed. It's not happening.
Nixed. That's all. It's done. It's a dead deal. Now, it becomes a little bit weird. Like, if more than those two people know it, you can't blame that
good
one
organizations
person.
make sure that the less people to know, the better.
Anyway, it's being reported that the holiday show next week is, in fact, the last show of this iteration of the Michael K. Show. And we could and will, in fact, confirm that that is the case. So after 22 years of Don and I together, and the last 9 joined by Peter, we've had an absolute blast. We do consider everyone that listens to this show an absolute family. I've gotten so many nice messages over the last day or so since the news broke. I've seen a lot of nice things on social media as well. You know, for a long time, we've been part of People's Afternoon, and it has meant the world to us. I never, ever had any aspirations to be a radio talk show host. Everybody knows my story. My big dream was to be the Yankee announcer, and I got to live that out. And this became an offshoot of that, and it's something that I have learned to absolutely adore. My time was running short on this kind of commitment every single day at my age, and with my kids, 10 and 11. Callie's going to be 12 on January 5th. I could not do this and the Yankees for a long time. Did I have maybe another year in me? Yes, but it's not fair to the company. They have to make long-term plans to, you know, we've got an afternoon show that's going to be on like you guys were just on for 22 years.
Right.
So, but I still love doing radio. So I am still going to be with the station. I am going to do a 2-hour show. The time of the show is still to be determined, but I will be doing a 2-hour show every Monday through Friday. So I'm not leaving. It's not the end of an era when it comes to me, and it's just the end of this iteration of this show, which has been on this station forever. But there is going to be a show that lives in this spot, and it's going to involve the 2 guys that are sitting with me right now, which I'm thrilled about.
Well, you and me both, brother. It's been an interesting period, and again, there'll be more clarity next week. But I'm super happy that we were able to figure things out. I wanted to be here. Obviously, this is a place that I've grown to love, and I love working with the guy sitting across from me, Don. You're pretty good too, Michael. But Don and I have an incredible respect for each other. We're super excited to do whatever comes next. And frankly, I'm not even just saying this. I've thought this the whole time, not to be a sap. Whatever ends up shaking out, I think it's a win for the listeners in that you're still going to have Peter, Michael, and Don on the air every single day for even more time now during the day. And to me, that feels like a lot of fun, Don. I love the idea of like us still being able to go back and forth across our shows, still having that camaraderie exist. I'm super excited about it.
Well, hopefully we'll have more clarity by the time we do the show next week, and we'll have plenty of time to say our goodbyes and all that. But the one thing I will say right now at this moment, to Michael's point about how difficult it's been for him to be able to juggle both of these gigs. And I remember we did the show 10 to 1 when the station first started, when the show first started back in July 15th of 2002, the show was 10 to 1. And the reason for that is Michael had baseball. And when the move was made, the show was so good. I'm not, this is not hyperbole. Well, we got to move this to afternoon drive. It's too good for 10 to 1. How are you going to make that happen when Michael's got a game? He's got to be on the air at 6:30. And in, what was it, Michael? Like in 05, like I guess early 05 was when we made the move. I didn't think it was going to work. I mean, how could it possibly work to Michael to be able to juggle that amount of time, to be on the air at 3 o'clock every day and then do games and West Coast games and then afternoon games and then jumping on the show in the middle? And made it work for 19 years. So, the fact that now it's not, I'm cool because we gave it 19 years more than Michael. I thought it was even possible. When they moved to the afternoon drive, I don't know how you felt about it. I'm like, how the hell are we going to make this work? It probably won't work for long. Eventually, Michael will say, this is too much for me. So credit to him. He made it work. We all made it work. It was awkward at times. But if Michael's got to do something else, we'll make that work too. So I'm looking forward to the future, as Peter said, because the future is very bright and no one's going anywhere. I mean, I look at this station as my baby. I was the first voice of it. So any kind of change is something that is going to be jarring, especially when you do the same thing in afternoon drive for 19 years and on the same show for 22. But before it's all good, man. It's all good.
Before people get really down and out thinking about, next Friday's show, you have to understand, from the perspective of the three of us, it's going to be a happy show. Michael and I, we've been dealing with this for a long time. We didn't know what that next Friday's show was going to be, Michael. All things considered, this is a pretty happy show next Friday. It didn't necessarily have to be that. So I feel pretty lucky and grateful that next Friday, kind of rather than be sad, we can celebrate what we've done together.
And so many of the texts from friends that I've gotten and some of the things on social media, is this what you wanted? Like, as if, it was a demotion. No, of course this is what, I mean, it's so much what I wanted that I'm committing to multiple years. And one of the reasons is I love being connected with ESPN and the people on the strictly radio side, Good Karma. I've told Craig Karmazin and Steve Policino, who run the company, I wish I met you guys when I was 40, because they have such a clear vision of what they want to do, and they're so smart and so forward thinking, and with the streaming and stuff like that and content, and that's why I'm hooking up for a couple more years. It's not just 1 year, so it's definitely what we all wanted. I'm sure Don and Peter wanted me out years ago.
True.
And,
at times.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And believe me, there were times that I said enough of these two, but we do love each other, and I think we've had a great time on the show. As Peter said, Friday's going to be a celebration, and we hope that as many people as could come out to Tommy's Tavern in Clifton. I hope that it's going to be it's not going to be sad. But if you are, and I've seen a lot of people on social media that are sad, and I would say this: don't be sad about the show ending in this iteration. Just be happy that we had the 22 years. How neat is that? It's Peter, you're a radio guy.
Yes.
It doesn't happen often
anywhere
for a show to last 22 years.
No, I mean, speaking only personally for myself and my experience here, the idea that Tim McCarthy and Justin Craig, and he's no longer with the company, Tim's no longer with the company, and this gentleman, Rob Savinelli, who was in the talent department at ESPN, when these people came to me and said, we have an idea to try this thing. Guys, do you know how often it works out when suits tell you we have a wacky idea? We're going to try something. We think it'll be great. Come on, I knew I'd do a good job. I knew I could handle this. The idea that the three of us would gel so well that you guys already had the show that I enjoyed as a listener, that I would listen when I was driving around New York, that we would then go to the highest heights with this show. It doesn't happen. You guys lasting together that long doesn't happen. Adding another person completely out of nowhere and thinking that'll gel, Don, that doesn't happen.
Well, it didn't gel a couple of times.
Well, yeah, even still, some days it doesn't gel. But to hit it at a 90% ratio and get to where the heights that we've gotten to, and just had the fun that we've had, I really mean it. I don't think there's a lot to be sad about. I mean, like I said, if Michael had told us that next Friday he was retiring, that would really have made it a sad show. Or if I was no longer going to be with the station, Michael, I think that would have made it a really sad show. The fact that when we come out of the holidays, you're going to hear the three of us all still on this radio station together, whether it's in the same show or just as teammates, I think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah, so we wanted to, obviously our preference was that you would have heard it from us initially. But because, again, people with a big mouth actually leak things to Andrew Marchand. So, but, the lineup of the station, not ready to be announced. The times, not ready to be announced. But just know that the three of us remain. It's something that we wanted. And it has nothing to do, with my age. I'm 63. And it has become a little bit more fatiguing to do a show, ended at 6:22, and literally, Don's seen it, run in the portals of Yankee Stadium and run up to the booth and then tape the open. That got to be a lot. But the reason I'm making this move is my show that I will be doing is earlier, and I want to see my kids grow up. I just do. At their age, I want to be home and out of work when they're out of school, so we can do things. I could coach maybe one of Charlie's teams, get involved more with Callie's stuff. So, yeah, I mean, to me, this is all I know. So people always go, I don't know how you've done it. And Don even said that. I've done it because it's all I know. It's like Stockholm Syndrome. That's all I know. And I've always been a person who likes to work. I don't shy away from work. So, yeah, age has made it more fatiguing, but it was certainly something that would have continued or could have continued in that way. But my family's really, really important to me. I got married late. And if I'm not going to be involved in their life, what did I do it for? Right. Why did I have kids?
Touche. So. Hey, listen, 3 to 7 or 3 to 6:30 or 4 to 7, all the different times that we've done this show, it comes right in the middle of the day. And I'm seeing it myself. You miss a lot. And Michael now, I think, at the age of 63, all the things that he has accomplished in his life, should be able to have a call on how he wants to do his work. So what's good for him, I'm good for it. We're going to figure out a way to make all of this work, and you're going to love the station as much as you did before. So we can't reveal too much, but knowing what we do know, it's going to be great.
I do want anyone who's concerned, though, to know that the show moving forward that Don and I will do in afternoons will be known as the Michael K. Show.
Right.
Yeah.
It was important to me.
We've agreed. So that means that now twice a day.
Yeah.
Earlier in the day, there will be a Michael K.
It'll
show.
be called the early Michael K. Show.
And then later on, just
the late Michael.
The Michael K. Show. So we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so you heard it from us. Again, we didn't give you many specifics other than the ones that count according to us, that pertain specifically to us. But we think we're very bullish on the future of this station. We're very bullish on Good Karma, who is guiding the station, and the people at ESPN, like Dave Roberts and Justin Craig, and they've made this all very easy.
Mike Voss.
Yeah, they've been tremendous.
Yeah.
They really have. So, and the guy who started this all, that first put me and Don together, Tim McCarthy, and then brought you on board as well. He was a big part of it. I think he helped build this station. And, I made my feelings known when he was part of the layoffs. I know he still cares a great deal about it as well. But you could thank him. If you like us, you could thank him because, his fingerprints are all over this.
Yeah. And of course, shout out to our current PD, John Winthrop.
No, I really don't want to shout him out.
I get it. I get it. But I think he does a good job.
Specifically.
Oh, that was an intentional political. Okay. I'd like to apologize.
Listen, John's been great.
No, John's tremendous, as far as he knows.
No, we're very. I love where I work.
Ryan Hurley, who's no longer with us.
Ryan Hurley.
Well, he's with us.
Joey Salvia.
Andrew Gunling.
This RJ.
Gigi Clark.
I'm going to write the book at some point. That this whole concept was taking a chance. The whole station, especially with the monolith that was down the road, and to do the things that we've accomplished, I've never been prouder of anything in my life from a business standpoint. To be able to have the self-imposed a lot of times, but just the hurdles of being a neophyte radio station and then, jumping on board the afternoon drive and having the success that we've had. If you had told me on July 15th, 2002, and the reason I remember it so well is because it's my brother's birthday, that I'd be working with this guy for the next 22 years. And we'd be at each other's weddings, and we would see kids come into the world. I mean, you don't work that long with somebody without having it affect your life in some way. My kids refer to work as Michael K. Declan did too. You going to Michael K?
And
my mom still thinks, listen, ask Michael for the day off tomorrow. Get some rest. Like, Michael doesn't have that power, Mom. But in a way you do, because that's kind of what my life's been for 22 years. I've been in this business, if I count Sports Phone, 32 years, and 22 of it's been working with you.
Well, I mean, I love Peter. But like Dorothy said,
do you love Peter?
In The Wizard of Oz? Dorothy said this in The Wizard of Oz to the Scarecrow. I look at Don and go, I'm going to miss you the most.
Aw, isn't that nice?
22 years.
That's a long time,
it's
man.
a long time.
You thought high school and college was long?
That's a great point. When you think about it like that, it's
almost a quarter of a century.
Wait, you guys did high school together 5 times.
Yeah,
first through all 4 years.
Right.
That's crazy. When you think about it in those terms,
well, think about
how many clicks these trips.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
I've been married since 05. So that's 19 years. You've been married what?
Since
2011.
11, yeah.
So that's 13. So we've been married combined 32 years. And we were working together for 20.
And we spend more time with each other than we spent with Jody and Nancy combined.
Well, I don't think statistically that's correct, but I hear what you're saying.
In terms of straight time? I mean, how often do you spend 4 straight hours with Nancy?
Well, quite often. We are married.
I understand, but on different floors of the house, probably.
I mean, what kind of relationship do you think they have?
Well, we spend at least, 6-7 hours together
sleeping
in the arms of Morpheus.
But
you're
sleeping, though.
I know we're together.
That still counts.
You're really together.
Fine, you're better than Nancy. Is that what you want?
No.
You're his real wife. Is that what you were looking for?
I'm his work wife.
That's right.
Put it that way. Let's go to Anthony in Long Island. Anthony.
Hey, guys. Thank you so much for taking my call today. A little sad, but not sad. You guys have been a big part of my life for a long time. I've been listening since 1947.
I love it.
And I just wanted to thank you guys. I've called a few times. I call the other shows, but you guys brought me into sports radio, and I just want to say thank you and congratulations. And let's get Don and Peter's name on the show. But I look forward to listening to you guys every day for a long time. Thank you very much. That's all I wanted to say. I just wanted to say thank you.
Anthony. We appreciate that. That was very nice.
That was very nice.
I appreciate that.
You know, I mean, there's a lot of people that chose to listen to us and have been listening to us for this long, Michael. So that means if they were 10 when they started listening to the show, getting driven back from school, say, because their dad or their mom listened to the show, they're 32 years old now, have kids of their own.
It's wild.
There was a guy who DM'd me on X, and it got me
emotionally.
Yeah, he said, "I've been listening to you since I was 14. I'm 28 now. I know the big news is you're retiring." He sent this to me a week ago, which I'm not. "Please, you can't leave us stranded like this. You must have a podcast once or twice a week. I had no father figure growing up.
Wow.
I stumbled across your show when I was young and lost. You're like a father figure to me."
Wow. You are getting emotional.
He said he would.
I didn't believe it.
And it goes on. So,
yeah.
You want me to read it?
No, it's just, he said, "And your advice knowledge throughout the years made me who I am today."
Nice.
Pretty nice.
That's very sweet. I'm worried about the guy, personally.
He's going to be a great guy.
He's going to have horrible taste in food. I worry about some of those things, but that's very
But have a very, very active dating life, right? Don lived through it.
Yeah, very active dating life. Wow.
Don's always told me I was a better talk show host single.
Well, I think a lot of people are.
I probably was too.
Because now we're humanized. Let's go to Rob in Sayreville. Rob.
Gentlemen, how we doing?
Good, what's up?
Thanks for... not much, Michael. I just had a couple quick things I wanted to say, and I wrote you guys a little something, an ode to the Michael K. Show, just real quick. But before I say it, I just wanted to first say thank you. I, too, have been listening to you guys for many years now. I traveled a whole bunch for work. You guys were always my ticket back to home. You guys were an anchor back to New Jersey, New York, where I grew up. So I wanted to say thank you for that. And then real quick, just an idea for next week. I think it'd be a good idea for you guys maybe do like a tournament of champions for the drops. And then on Friday on the last show, you maybe unveil the best drop of the Michael K. Show. Something along those lines. But maybe, let that idea sit. But I'll read this thing for you just for the sake of time. But I think it's pretty good.
Okay.
So, Michael, Don, Peter, the afternoon drive, where the sports talk is gold and the audience is high. From Michael's fourth grader appetite to Don's high blood pressure rants to Peter's ENNs offering news at a glance. Whether driving in traffic or out of state for work, TMKS was my ticket to New York. But sadly, all great runs must eventually go to bed. From the bottom of my heart, thank you, gentlemen. Now sniff them. Sniff them dead.
Good job, Rob.
That was very good.
Thank you, buddy.
A lot of what
I
makes
love
the
that.
show
That was
great.
very good.
By the way, I love. I don't know if we do I know, Anthony. It's going to be too much to try to pull together an all-time drop madness. Is my guess
Because I already know the number one in my head.
Well, the easy thing is all the winners.
Oh, yeah. You take the winner show from over the years.
Like that's
or even the final four. Like take the fours or the.
Well, how many have we done? Like 6 or 7? How many drop madness
I think it might be.
have we had?
Yeah, that's a good question. 6 or
here
7.
are the winners.
We know!
Okay.
Look at this garbage. Look at this garbage.
Okay, what else?
How many chances you get?
Yeah, it's a lot. You get the theme here.
Former Raven. Replied.
Yeah, so-
Or current Raven. Actually.
Oh, like the game doesn't need him.
Sorry, he's a Charger now.
He's a Charger.
Oh, no, he's a
A
Ram.
lot of people think that is it anyway.
I think I'm saying this right, Peter. Stench in Mamaroneck. You're on ESPN New York. How are you, sir?
Oh, hey, no, it's Bennett.
Finally, somebody broke the streak.
Thank you, my friend, and I will see you soon. Say hi to everybody. Be well. You say hello too. Okay, take care, Michael. It's Michael K. with me here.
But it was short-lived.
No, Michael K.
That was the time to go.
That was really the moment.
His fat ass.
Should have stepped away.
That one? Cut his fat ass one?
Yep. That's a 4 seed.
So how many do we have? So how many
That's
times
8?
do we do it?
8.
8. We
As
did
far as
8
I know,
of them.
8.
But the one I thought about was never eligible for Drop Madness.
Which is one?
Is the LT drop.
Oh, it was tremendous. That's the show. That's when, like they say, Seinfeld.
See, to
This
me,
is the
that's
show.
the one. That's the show. I don't know if you
No,
can
it's
find
doing real well.
All right, bud. I'm just having you.
it. That's it.
Yeah, that was English.
Oh, it's such a great moment. Now, but I was going to say this, though. Since I know an all-time full drop madness is probably not possible, but should we count down moments or something? Feels like next week we got to, relive moments as the week goes on,
No,
don't
we'll
we?
have the whole Soto thing. We won't be able to do any moments.
That's more appropriate. That really is the show. Ignore any important things that have happened about us.
We could everybody love Raymond. That just have a last show. That's it. Don't acknowledge it's the last show. Just
do a show.
Walk away as men. Ladies and gentlemen.
You know what? I respect that too.
1-800-919-3776 coming up in just a moment.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Contest every year, dating back. When did we start the show, Don?
1947.
Every year. Every year. I mean, I used to always go with Bronco Nagurski. It was amazing. Last couple of years, I've actually won. Don had to shave his goatee. This year, I started off the season with a 5-0 week, and that's how we do it. We have the Jets and the Giants we have to pick, and then 3 other games. And Don whined and cried like a baby. He didn't want to play anymore, but then he did, and he ended up pretty much lapping the field. Had a big week last week, 3-1. Peter was 0-4. I was 1-3, but I'm so far behind I can't catch up. We'd have to do some farcical, exotic bets, linked to the national anthem, and I didn't want to make this betting thing a farce. I just wouldn't do it. It would be fake. It would be fake news if we did that.
Fake news.
So what we bet was that the loser would have to dye his hair the original color. Don, are you brown or black, Don?
Brown.
All right,
It looks
Don?
black now, but originally it would have been brown.
All right, so it would have had to been brown. And
Yeah.
Don's all gray. Peter would have to grow his hair out like Gallagher, the prop comic.
Yes.
That's right.
A lot of melons, watermelons, and sledgehammers.
Right.
And stuff.
Good stuff. I mean, stuff that never goes out of style. And I would have had to dye my hair brown, which is my original color. So because we mathematically figured out that there was no way that I could catch Don, I actually believe I'm 22 games under 500.
Wow.
So, I mean, for that sort of performance, I should actually have had to get my hair shaved off, but the original bet was that it would have to be dyed. So we said we would reveal around 5 o'clock. It's 5:07 right now. For those listening on the radio, driving home, I have been wearing a ski cap from loveyourmelon.com,
right,
which is a charitable endeavor. I've been wearing it the whole show. So now I'm going to take it off. Now, one thing I will tell you, it's been matted down for the last 3 hours. Essentially, I came into the station at 2 o'clock, haven't taken it off, so that might affect the way it looks. But don't look at the way it looks.
Okay.
The hair will be like the hair always is tomorrow, but the color is going to be a little jarring, a little startling. Don's staring at me right now, Peter, because he has not seen it.
I haven't seen it.
I have not let him see it, so when I take this hat off, he's going to see it for the first time.
And Peter, you have a monitor up there, right?
I do, but obviously I'll be about 6-7 seconds behind.
Okay, now I also tweeted out pictures, and yes, we'll show a little bit later on, I guess, or right away. My hair was on the side fully gray, almost LaGreca-like gray, and the top was gray too, with some brown in it. So here we go. Oh, this is gonna be so bad.
It looks great.
I mean, it looks great.
It looks great.
It looks awful.
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
It looks look. There's no gray on the side.
But you look very good. Now it's different.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a shudder because it's different, but overall, it looks fantastic. It's not. Sometimes when you go brown,
Now look how different it is according to the yes.
It's much different, but it looks really great. Now it's matted down, so
Right,
eventually
it's-
it's going to look like tomorrow. It's going to look very normal. But Peter, you've now seen it. It doesn't have that orange hue, which sometimes happens when you try to dye brown. You look really good.
Fraud.
What
Fraud.
what?
The whole thing's fraud.
What do you mean it's a fraud?
It's hard
it looks
to
awful.
it's hard to believe.
I like a
Usually, when you see something odd or awful, what would you lose a bet? No, it looks like you won the bet.
Don, this is just what we predicted.
Unbelievable.
It's classic fraud.
Oh.
This is. It doesn't even look weird. It doesn't look bad. Look at that. All thumbs up from the S Studios in Stamford, Connecticut. It is absolutely absurd. You look better than before. The only thing that makes it look bad is that it's messed up.
Andrew, what do you think?
Don is so right about this. You do not look bad at all. This is not bet-worthy.
You look terrific.
Bet-worthy? I have gray hair. Now all of a sudden I have to be on the air with dark hair.
Everyone prefers gray. Everyone prefers that gray hair.
You lost the bet on purpose because you wanted an excuse to do this.
And this is something that you should continue to do forward.
You think I should continue to dye my hair?
Yeah, this looks really good. You look younger. You look 5-6 years younger, Michael.
It's true.
Maybe a decade younger.
Totally fraudulent.
Terrific. Absolutely terrific. You won this bet. You won it.
How did I win it? Now I'm a fraud. I'm not. This is not the real me.
Look at the before and after. You just got younger. That's it.
It's unbelievable. Let's have a bet where Michael looks better and younger.
I think it looks awful. Now I have to give props to Junior, who did it at Classic Barber.
They're releasing the video now on 98.7 ESPN New York.
All right, there's a video of it actually getting dyed where Junior was so patient, and the guys at Classic Barber, and I went to a Classic Barber in Greenwich, and Jeff Scopin was there and videotaped the whole thing, and my wife was there, Jody, and she actually said she liked it when she saw it come out, but
she has eyes.
It's so different.
I'm looking at the
There's
picture.
a picture of Jody watching.
Look at the picture now and the video now, and now you look terrific. It's as if you won. It is unbelievable.
No, see, Ray doesn't like. Ray Santiago just said he didn't like it. He just went like this.
I don't understand. You look younger.
Yeah, I don't notice much of a difference.
Oh, see, he's saying he doesn't notice much of a difference.
You don't notice a difference. What do you have the gift of sight? Did I have gray hair, Don?
You did have gray hair. It looks darker. It makes you look younger.
Okay, Ray.
And again, it's going to get even better tomorrow when it's not all matted down from wearing the hat for 3 hours.
I hate it.
You've taken this moment that was built up as such a negative, and you turned it into an absolute positive.
I don't think I have.
This would be you winning the bet.
How did I win the bet? I'm a completely different person now. My children were scared when I walked into the house.
Oh,
there's a video of me walking into the Classic Barber. I'm sitting there looking at my phone. There's Junior, who did a great job. There's Jody. There's how miserable I was.
My mom's calling me on the cell.
She doesn't realize you're on the air.
Mom, you have to call the number. Can somebody call my mom? Andrew, you still have the number.
This is so fraudulent.
How's it
I'm
fraudulent,
so
Peter?
annoyed.
Why?
Because you played this whole song and you're like Donald Trump.
How am I?
You're like Donald Trump. You point out something. You pretended to not want to do this, so when you did it, you looked as if you set the groundwork that you didn't want to do it, but you always wanted to do it. It's an upgrade. Why would I
want to do? If I always wanted to do that, why wouldn't I have done it?
Because you needed an excuse. Because you're an authentic kind of guy. So you don't want.
Look at Twitter. It's blowing up.
People love it.
Michael Bean. It wasn't supposed to make you look better. Amanda, Michael, it looks great. Very natural. It makes you look younger.
Somebody said like Vince Vaughn with the new hair color.
Jay Herb says looks like a cross between a young Kevin James and Bruce Willis.
Fraud. He won the bet.
How's that? I lost the bet.
You've got to be kidding me. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Now I'm starting to wonder.
Like a hair club for men ad that
it
they
does.
have on Yes.
And that would be like the signature before and after. You're making the company money. You didn't even use them. I'm telling you, this is huge. My mom's called in.
What'd she say?
Well, let's listen. She asked. She's called.
All right.
Mom, what do you think?
Oh, he looks really handsome. You look so much younger. You look really great.
Wow.
You look like my younger son now.
Wow.
David, who's got the Kavorka.
You really look really handsome. You're always handsome anyhow, but I'm saying really much younger, too. I love it.
Thank you very much.
You know what? He was so bad down the stretch, guys. I think you threw these games so this could happen.
It's amazing. Right. I could not have thrown it this bad. There's no way I could have been this bad. Like 0-5 weeks, 1-4. Well, thank you, Mrs. LaGreca. That means a lot.
Talking to you.
All right, thank you. I don't know. I don't like it.
People have paid big money for this kind of improvement.
You know what, Don? You know why it ticks me off? Because I don't have this option. You know, there's no situation in which I could do something to my hair where I go to a salon and all of a sudden I come out and everyone goes, "Oh my God, you look so young," unless they took spray paint and just painted my head.
That's called couvre.
Well, with that.
Yeah.
And guess what happens when it rains?
It drips.
That's right.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Let's go to Steve in the cell. Steve.
Hey, hello, Mike.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
How are you?
Yes.
Oh, sure, we hear you.
I don't want to hear him.
Okay.
Oh, no.
No? All right. But listen, if Boone is such a good manager that you love, and Cashman can't do no wrong for you, why was he batting Hicks first yesterday?
What? Let me ask you a question.
When Hicks hasn't got a hit.
Well, because he gets on base by walking. He had a terrible game yesterday too. But Steve, let me ask you a question. Wait a second.
You're giving a guy $70 million to walk.
You're not. Listen. I didn't say that was a good contract, and it's $10 million a year. But Steve, let me ask you something. So you think Aaron Boone's a terrible manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So if they had Joe Torre or Casey Stengel as their manager, what would their record be, Steve-O?
The record would be probably the same, Mike.
So, then what's the problem?
Boone hasn't won any of the games. The Yankees won them.
Oh, so Boone only loses the game. Boone only loses, Steve. He doesn't win them.
Steve, why can't you just be happy? Your team's 28-10. Why can't you just be happy? They're 28-10.
How can you be happy when you're looking at Hicks up there and Gallo up there?
Well,
not
they're on the Steve.
Oh.
They're on the team. What do you? Where do you want them to play them? They're on the team.
Oh, come
Cut
on,
them.
Steve. You're
All right,
simple.
goodbye, Steve.
It'll be very simple.
Bye. Enjoy your life because it sounds like you do.
No,
Bye.
like to cut them. All right, so
Cut
you're gonna
them.
eat all that when you get to cut them. Honestly, it's just so colossally stupid. I mean, I don't want to pick on people, but you can't call up. You're gonna cut Aaron Hicks. You're gonna cut Joey Gallo. And
with no replacements. The replacements are Estevan Florial and Miguel Andujar.
Yeah, and Florial is really struggling with the Patriots, by the way. So he's gonna.
It's not Mike Trout and Barry Bonds. I mean, are you people out of your minds?
You got to be logical, all right? I can understand that there's a couple of players on the team that you don't like. You're 28-10. The caller admitted that Joe Torre, Casey Stengel, Connie Mack could be the manager of the team, and their record would be no different. So instead of just luxuriating in the fact you've got the best team in baseball, you're going to sit on hold for 30 minutes and complain about the manager and complain about Hicks. What's wrong with you people? What's wrong?
Go back to
Cindy Crawford's got a mole. Like you're going to just sit there and you've got something that's drop dead gorgeous, Peter. Drop dead gorgeous. I'm no Yankee fan. I don't like the Yankees, but the facts are the facts. They're 28-10. If they were a supermodel, you wouldn't be able to approach them. You wouldn't be able to look directly at them like you're looking at the sun. That's how gorgeous they are. And instead of sitting there and being, boy, am I happy that I am a fan of the best team in baseball, you're going to sit there and complain, Aaron Boone's a bum. They should cut Hicks. Gallo's a joke. Really? What's up? You people are miserable. You're miserable.
I just want to know, if you were to go throughout history, look at some of the great teams that the Yankees have had. On the 1961 Yankees, there were no players in the lineup who weren't fantastic all the time. They didn't have any soft spot. Every single batter, Michael, was fantastic.
Well, I thought.
I know they were loaded.
Paul O'Neill said it best this past weekend, and he said, "You don't want everybody hot at the same time, because then they'll all get cold at the same time." He said it's better that it's done in shifts. So the cold people will get hot at some point. The hot people will get cold at some point. Now, will Hicks and Gallo ever get hot? I don't know. I don't think Gallo's a fit here. I don't. I'm sorry. Hicks has not played in a long time, and he's shown a lot of rust. He looks absolutely atrocious. There's no other way to put it. But cut them. Cut them. You really know the game, don't you, Steve-O?
But how are they killing him? How is Hicks killing him? All right, he wasn't great today. Sorry, you can't win every single day. You're 28-10. So where exactly is Gallo and Hicks hurting them? Got a 5-game lead on the Rays. What?
Can you imagine? They lost a game and they're coming out of the woodwork, Don. Didn't I tell you they were waiting?
I got to tell you.
They're coming out of the woodwork,
people
baby.
like Steve, seriously, people like Steve don't deserve to root for a team that wins a championship. They don't deserve the Yankees. Because if they can't appreciate what they have, hey, take a look at the '86 Mets. Rafael Santana hit like 230 or whatever. Was I on hold as an 18-year-old Met fan to rip that they weren't getting any production out of shortstop when they won 108 games and won the division by 25 and a half?
Well, listen, I don't want to get yelled at by Peter.
Michael, they got to get. They won 100 games, Michael. They got to get rid of Doug Sisk. Doug Sisk is killing them in the bullpen. Randy Neiman. I don't want to see Randy Neiman anymore, Michael. He's killing the Mets.
Guys, I'm sorry to jump in here, but
you people. I hate them. I hate them. You don't take the calls anymore. Seriously, I knew that guy. It's like when he's like, "Can he hear me?" I don't want to hear you. I don't want to hear you. You know what? From now on, when you call like that guy, Steve, I'm not talking. But you're going to hear this. That's me by banging my forehead on the microphone, because that's what I feel like doing, shoving it into my brain. Because people are simple.
Let's take a brief time out.
You're 4 minutes past the clock.
Well, now. What did I tell you? The reason why that happens, is that the reason this time? It's not me. It's my co-host. Look, he's banging his head against the mic. Now, should we break at this point? It's ratings gold, but we have bills to pay, things to do. We'll be back.
Pick brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. He's got 18 career goals in 50 games against the Devils. I'm going to go with Chris Kreider, anytime goal scorer tonight for the Rangers against the Devils. That's Ice Picks brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit SamuelPain.com today.
You remember, Peter, when Don did the 15-leg parlay at the end of the week?
Yeah. Did he win?
He went 5 and 10.
I won 5 and 10.
Yeah.
At least I tried.
You do. You give it a shot.
Nobody aims for the sun and expects to survive.
That's right.
But did you even get close?
No.
Yeah. Mike Richter, one of our favorite people, joins us now here at the NHL store.
Thanks, guys.
The only guy that got away with wearing a jacket that's got his name and picture on it.
That is very cool.
Yeah, I just made this.
Yeah, I like it. For those that are listening on radio, it's a blue Ranger jacket, red, white, and blue, and it says Mike Richter. And there's
Well, actually, the brand is FE, and we just met the owners in the back of the store. These things are extraordinary. They're made totally sustainably.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a pile of solar panels, which I love. I do a lot of that myself now, and they're able to put all kinds of iconic pictures on these things in a way that no one else possibly can. And if you look, Marty's got one too. You take the jacket inside and out, and it's got his whole stats inside.
Yeah,
they're just.
And it's a pretty nice, like the actual
of
feel
the
of the
jacket.
jacket.
It's unbelievable.
Pretty nice.
It's a really cool thing. So I think you'll see a lot of this FE brand. It's really cool.
See, but you seem like a really humble guy. So I want you to be honest with me.
I am the best at being humble.
All right, well, I love it. I love it. Better. Would you walk around with that around the neighborhood?
No, but I got 3 boys that play hockey, and I will be all over them with this. Like, where's yours?
That, yeah.
No, you know, it's. I think we're all, I started out as a player in Philadelphia, and we're all hockey fans. Back then, you get little cards or patches at the Acme, and it was really cool. They just didn't have what they have now. I mean, you're in Boston, Wayne Gretzky's head on the back of a jacket. It's amazing with all the stats and whatnot. And so they can make these small batches, and they'll keep coming up with them. But I just, you look at behind, unfortunately, your guys on the radio can't, but Marty's got the jacket. It's got all his stats in there. It's got great pictures of them. It's just kind of amazing stuff. There's amazing. Yeah,
Messier. They got the Islanders pop in, as you said, the Devils.
But we're all fans. We started out with this stuff. It's cool to be supportive, No,
I was talking to John Delapina, who used to be cover the Rangers for the Daily News, now works over for the league. And we're just talking about the 4 nations coming up in February. And we were just reminiscing about '96 and America upsetting Canada. Where does that rank for you as a non-NHL event, but still something that really resonates with American hockey
I get asked that question a lot, and Marty and I were just talking about it. I think it's an extraordinary thing. '96 was in the beginning of the season, if you will. It was somewhere in August, so your whole summer is like you're focused on that. That's what you have to do. This one's in the middle of the season. It's very difficult for guys to kind of sever that tie with their own players. You might be playing against the guy you're sitting next to in the locker room because he's from a different country. But a couple things are going on. Number one, it's the best of best. Like, if you're a fan or you're a player, it's full stop right there. You want to be part of it. And so also, there's a lot of pride in the line. This isn't an all-star game. It's an all-star lineup. But, look, Finland wants to win. Sweden wants to win. U.S. wants to win. in hockey right now, such an international sport, there are 5 or 6 teams that legitimately can go into a tournament like this, like the Olympics, and say, we have a chance to win the gold medal. And it's going to be whoever is playing great at that moment. So who's your goaltender? Who do you start? You can't take a shift off, let alone a period, because it's going to be, you're behind the 8 ball so quick. So for me, I love these tournaments, and the fact that the NHL brass got it together, it's hard to do, but it's worthwhile.
So we had Chris Mullen on earlier talking about Lou Cornacecco who passed, and he said something I'd never heard before, that he and Ewing were on the U.S. Olympic team, and they never said a word to each other. Man. Was that like you with any people that you were on that team with that you played against during the season?
No, I mean, just no.
It's unbelievable, right?
You have to, I mean, it's a really important, there's nobody in this tournament that's not a great player. There's nobody in the NHL that's not a great player. Every year, the skill level, but you know, you're looking at the best and the best. But you have to think about, do you have those glue guys that somehow get this disparate group of people that were just playing against each other to gel together so much that they'll go through a wall to win a game? And
Sure.
you're going to have to do that if you're going to win. And that's one thing that we had in 1996. Kachuk and Billy Guerin were the 2 guys that just made everybody laugh. They were young, they were tough, they were skilled, and it was kind of a different brand of U.S. hockey. And, man, they took no crap from anybody. And in the 4 walls of our locker room, within the first practice, we were having so much fun. It was like, boom, you just gelled like that, and suddenly you had a team. It wasn't just a collection of all-stars.
What about now? You said you were just talking to Marty. I mean, you guys were rivals.
Yeah.
So is that all, does it put aside, or did you even get along when you played?
I still don't talk to Marty, no. No, Marty's great. Honestly, he's one of those goalies that was so easygoing. You'd always meet each other at the red line, you know. He's like, hey, how's it going? Like, it's like a Sunday afternoon. You're in the 3rd game of the, conference finals, and he could just chat you up and laugh and have a great time. So I've known him just to play against him, but also just almost personally. You know, hockey's a small world, but goaltending union is very small, and Marty's one of the best. He's just really easygoing, and I've always just enjoyed being around him, play golf or whatever it is. But, over time, you get to see those guys that you hated, and they're great guys. Like Kenny Danigo, Niedermeyer, my son played with him out west in the last couple of years, and you just go, well, no wonder these guys won. They're great guys, they're character guys, and they're skilled.
You just said something in passing, though, about this version of the league, all the players are great players, and you can see it up and down, right?
Absolutely.
And the NBA has, of course, become like that as well. But if you go back to, like, when you were a rookie, at that time, were there still any players left in this league? And I'm not, obviously, I would never ask you for a name.
Yeah.
But who, like, they made it to the league, and they were guys who could scrap, but literally wouldn't even have a chance of making this league from a skill set standpoint?
I think the skill level's going up. And, yeah, for sure. And, one way of looking at it is like when Wayne Gretzky came into the league, think of 700 guys in the league. He'd be number 1. Who was the last guy? The 4th line used to be tough guys that couldn't get around too much, but you won't want to get in their way. They'll beat you up. Nobody can't play right now. Nobody can't score. Everybody was a 50-goal scorer at some point. And I just think the skill level right now, my kids are in college. I watch that game. It is phenomenal. AHL's phenomenal. So you just have this compression of skill up at the top levels, and then you take the cream of the crop from that at these 4-nation tournaments, and you really have something.
What do you think of this Ranger team?
I love them. I mean, look.
They're struggling right now.
They're struggling right now. There's no 2 ways about it, but they're very well coached. I think they're one of the most exciting teams in the league. It's a big, tough league out there. Nobody's going to give you an inch. Rangers got off to a great start. Now you got a target on your back. They have some injuries. I don't mind struggles. I mean, you got to get through them. And if they get through them, the hard way, and they learn something from it, they'll be better off for it. But man, oh man, every night is a battle. I know when I started my career, people were like, you're going to make the playoffs anyway. No, you have a couple hiccups now, and you're in real trouble, even in October.
Can you empathize with what Igor is going through right now of trying to not only carry a team that's struggling, but also he's got a contract, and with the salary cap, like there's a lot going on for him.
There's a lot on his plate, but I mean, look, it's not easy to set the benchmark for the price of a goaltending, and if you're the management, you're like, do I want to do this? How do I, do I want to lock him in with a salary cap? It's a really complicated, difficult thing. Igor somehow, I mean, I've been super impressed. He just does nothing but puts his head down and puts in a phenomenal performance again and again. So, the Rangers had their struggle, but he's been a real bit of stability, as has Quick. I mean, both of them are amazing to watch. And so, yeah, I've got a ton of respect for both those guys, actually.
It's funny. I mean, he could make upwards of $12 to $13 million a year. And I always ask this to the guys I broadcasting games with the Yankees, like O'Neill, and are you guys jealous of what people make now? I mean, David Cone won 5 championships, and Garrett Cole makes $36 million a year. Yeah. Do you look at Igor and go, why couldn't I be younger?
The only guy that ever annoyed me was Jeff Buchwald. No, I don't. I think this guy's worth every penny. He is a spectacular player. The game is bringing in that much money. It's supply and demand. There's not a lot of Igor Shesterkins out there, so you got to pay if you want to, have the privilege of having him between the pipes. And I can't look at the guys now with the salaries they're making because the guys before me are looking at my salary. It's just an evolution.
You didn't have a cap when you played.
Right.
So how much responsibility is on him that, well, if I get more money, that might mean somebody that's supposed to help me might end up having to go someplace else. Should he allow himself to think about that?
Yeah, and you see players do those really unselfish things and go, okay, well, defer some payment, or I'll take a little less. I need this guy on my wing in order to win a championship, and that is what it's all about. So it can be used against you, too, as a little bit of a weapon. Hey, man, we would like to get Cal McCarr. Could you take half your... So there is a balance there, and it's hard to kind of game it all out. The best thing he can possibly do is what he's doing. Go out there and just play awesome.
See that, Mike? That I could never be a guy because I'd say no. I want the money. You guys figure it out.
You know what? It sounds, being self-effacing, but
that's very real.
You didn't have to try for that one. That's just natural. You are a natural.
Oh yeah, right.
No, but when you have that locker room like that, you go to work every day with those guys. They are your family, and you rely on them. And I think that changes the equation pretty profoundly.
Really great to see you.
Yeah.
And have a great holiday.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
Thank you so much for jumping by. That's the great Mike Richter.
Thanks.
All right, we'll come back in just a moment. We'll also talk to Marty Brodeur a little bit later on in the 5 o'clock hour. Give you a chance to win that VIP access to the holiday party coming up next Friday. It's Kay, LaGreca, Rosenberg, Richter, and you right here on Yes at 880 ESPN.
Can I just, let's jump in for 1 second, because Michael, arguing with Don, he will continue to repeat the same thing over and over again until you melt down and collapse. No, Don, your way of arguing is one of the most... It's a compliment. It's a compliment.
But you to beg. Don't even say that to me. The way I argue. Go screw.
Are you going to argue?
Sit here and the way I argue. I'll argue the way I want to argue. That's what arguments are about. Trying to make a point. I'll sit there and tell me the way you argue. Just repeat myself. Give me a break.
It's a compliment.
Oh, stop
it's
yourself.
Shut up.
You maniac. Don't talk to me that way. Don't ever talk to me that way.
Go pout, baby boy. You want to go pout?
I would think you don't even talk to me. Don't talk to me that way.
Don, you were repeating the same thing as a tough
do the rest of the show. Do it with Michael Boy.
Okay, good. All right, good. And I'll do that. What I was going to say was, it's very challenging because you repeat it and it's an effective argument.
Nice back pedal. Hamstrings must be pretty strong after that. The way I argue.
Calm down.
Let's all take a deep breath. Congratulations to Luke Springer. He is going to the center stage with Stephen A. Smith, and Luke is from Hawthorne, New Jersey. So he won the center stage tickets. We'll take a quick break. Marley Rivera will...
so I don't get to make my point because Don has a...
Go ahead, go.
I have a point.
Go. No,
yeah,
go.
Go ahead, go to... Well, we keep repeating the same thing. Don is arguing a different thing than you are. And I don't necessarily disagree with what he's saying. He's saying they were still an underdog. That's a valid point. But at the same time, Michael's arguing when you looked at the season that was this Golden State Warriors team, it was the team with Kevin Durant, not the team without it. But to Don's point, I still don't think that deserves an asterisk because they came in, they didn't just beat them, they whooped them. They absolutely...
there's something special happening right now that I'm unaware of. So I believe Steve, Steve, what's your official title? CEO?
President.
Oh, Good Karma Brands.
That's not nothing.
No, not nothing. It's very much something. You have a headset on. I don't know what's going on, so I'll leave it to you.
I think I took Don's headset. I think he's already really mad about it.
No, I just wanted to have a headset.
Yeah, and you do. And I don't want to get in the way of ENN and everything that's amazing going on here. Just wanted to jump in and welcome everybody here today. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Giving it up for these guys and this incredible show. Let's hear it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thrilled about what's happened the last 22 years. Thrilled what's happened with Michael and Don. Thrilled what's happened the last 9 with the addition of Peter. And also thrilled for not only what the memories that have been made, but the expansion that's going to come, because you're going to be able to get more of these guys throughout more of the day and what the future is going to bring. So we are very excited about the future. Are you?
By the way, let me answer, Steve. Very excited.
We know you are.
Yes.
We know you are. So to commemorate on behalf of all the teammates at Good Karma Brands, ESPN, of course, from market manager Vinny DeMarco, director of content John Winthrop, we have some gifts for you guys for the last 22, as well as for everything that's ahead. Can't thank you guys enough, and so excited for the future.
I love gifts.
All right. Wow, wait, someone just handed Don a Stanley Cup, for God's sake.
Oh, my God. This is a Stanley Cup that has everybody's name that's ever worked on the show.
No.
Wow.
R.J. Santillo, Ray Santiago, Anthony Pusick, G.G. Clark, Jacob Perry, Tom Bauer. Wow, look at that.
And how about this?
Wow.
A Monument Park plaque.
Oh, wow.
As there should be.
Wow.
For
See,
Michael K.
I told you you'd go to the Hall of Fame.
That's the only way. Thank you, Steve. Thank you so
amazing.
much. Wow.
And I have received an ESPN championship title. Yeah, with the ESPN E on it. Michael K. Show on one side, Peter Rosenberg on the other, nameplate.
Wow.
This is beautiful, man.
That's
Steve,
amazing,
it's really
man.
nice of you.
That's
Thank
really
you.
nice.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you to
wow.
Megan Judge.
Megan,
Wow.
thank you. Good
Megan,
karma, thank you.
you.
This is so
really
cool.
great. Thank you.
No,
Make some noise, guys, for the big brass coming through for us on the big day.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you,
this
Steve.
is amazing. It's
Thank
got
you,
the names
Steve.
of... You know what's amazing, Michael? We've had as many general managers as co-hosts here. No, seriously. Like, they got, all right, the co-hosts, Michael K., Peter Rosenberg, Ryan Rucco, Michelle Beadle, Bonnie Bernstein, Meredith Morakovitz, general managers, Tim McCarthy, Dave Roberts, Scott McCarthy. Goes on and on the list.
That's
of
really
people.
cool.
That is really nice that they did that.
That is really, really cool, guys. All right. Don holding up a cup. That's a cup you have every right to hold.
Wow.
Guys, welcome to ENN. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm disappointed to announce I will not be doing this week's NFL announcer lineup.
Why not?
No, I know.
I'm very disappointed. I enjoy it. All right, well, we should ask.
No.
right.
I'm not doing it today anyway. Oh, if they enjoy it, you can hear it. They love it.
All right.
You guys like the NFL announcer lineup?
Okay.
See, Michael? There's some people like it. But I wanted to read something if you guys would indulge me during ENN for a moment. Don't look over my shoulder at it. Just
It's
listen.
something you wrote?
Something I wrote.
All right.
What's the matter with you?
Nothing.
All right.
No, I'm gonna read you some Faulkner.
That'll be the first time.
All right, everybody listening, everybody ready? Are you ready?
Yes.
So I'm pouring my heart out here, folks. All right. So I wrote this originally last night thinking I would just print it somewhere. And then I thought, you know what? You don't always get a chance in life to say things to the people that you love and care about. So why not just read it in front of all of our family here today? So here it is. It is very rare that an idea from the suits upstairs turns into creative magic. I don't know what the percentage is, but it's very low. However, for some reason, when Rob Savinelli in the talent department talked to Justin Craig and Tim McCarthy about the idea of bringing in a somewhat controversial hip-hop host to ESPN New York, something clicked. It wasn't met with open arms, as most of you know. Michael and Don didn't want yet another update guy. Ryan Rucco, Michelle Beadle, and many others had roles on the show in past years. Who the hell was Peter Rosenberg, and why him? Well, thank you. At first, things were a bit uncomfortable. In retrospect, I almost feel bad for a 36-year-old me, knowing what I know now, who had no idea what I was walking into. I'd enjoyed Michael and Don on the radio from time to time on 1050 AM and then 98.7, but never for a second did I think I would be on their show. Surprisingly, I think I won Michael over first. In relatively short order, he noticed that a new dynamic was being created. Not because I'm so great, but because sometimes 1 + 1 = 3. Sometimes the sum is greater than the parts. Don took longer to warm up to me. And now, knowing the whole situation, it makes perfect sense. If you had always been the unheralded, underrated sidekick, the appearance of someone new would naturally feel like a bit of a threat. But something amazing happened. For some reason, and I don't know why, the chemistry of the show shifted. And Don began to shine even more than before. I think Don did? I think the addition of the Yes Network played a major part there too. The world just needed to see that lovable hunk of man to truly fall in love with him the way we all did. Now, to be clear about Don LaGreca, he is much more than just some maniac yelling about sports. There are gas bags all over the country and in this market who performatively yell and scream to show everyone how much they know or how much they care about sports. They try to be funny, they try to be edgy, they try to be special. Don doesn't try to do anything. Don is the rare 100% genuine article. He's not some obsessive fan lunatic who wears face paint and screams because his team loses. Don is just a passionate, authentic, legitimately hilarious man who simply lets go and lets the emotions take over, and the result is gold. And the best part about Don going off the rails, it's never mean-spirited, with the possible exception of Evan Neal.
Cut his fat ass!
That was right.
Then there's Michael Kay. What do you say about the guy? He's an iconic baseball broadcaster who at this point is part of the fabric of New York. The man has a legitimate catchphrase on T-shirts that is so well known that opposing players fantasize about having one of their home runs punctuated by his signature. See ya. Kay and I can drive each other nuts. We have a healthy or possibly unhealthy mix of mutual admiration and annoyance. I think he can take things too seriously, and sometimes he thinks I don't take things seriously enough. Michael will be the first to tell you that he's not thin-skinned, he's translucent. Here's the genius of Kay. He's no more thin-skinned than any of the other radio icons. Stern, Imus, Francesa, all of them. But Kay is so committed to entertainment that he allowed this new guy from Hot 97 to show up and immediately start challenging him. He 100% understood that letting me tee off on him not only made for a good laugh, but also created an incredible dynamic. Hear me when I say this. There's not another broadcaster of Kay's status in the country who would sign up to be the butt of the joke as often as this man does. And I hate to ruin the fantasy, but it's the last day of the show anyway. All the fights, all the yelling, all the insults, I can count the actual anger between the three of us on one hand. And one of those times was when Don said,
I was making an face dead.
And we made up literally in 90 seconds. Yeah, Michael is a rare breed. He's a serious broadcaster who's willing to say or do just about anything for the sake of a good show. And another thing that separates him is he can drive the show and still be funny. It's not easy to do that, and he's mastered the skill. Driving the show and being funny. Unless, of course, we're talking baseball. There is nothing funny about baseball. I came into the show as one person, guys, and hopefully I'm leaving as someone totally different. I hope and believe that I'm a better broadcaster, a better co-host, a better husband, a better person, and soon to be an awesome dad. And Ray, I certainly look better now than I did before.
The quicker y'all get rid of that sloppy pig, the better you can do.
All of this is thanks to the things I've learned sitting next to these two giants. I am forever grateful for this experience, and I have to admit, as sad as I am that it's ending, it's pretty cool that Don and I, two guys who haven't always gotten our due in local media, and sometimes even at our own station, will get a chance to captain a new show along with Alan Hahn to show the world just how good we are with no Michael K. To our listeners and viewers all over the country and world, thank you. Thank you for loving us through radio battles, personal struggles, ups and downs, a global pandemic, life changes, and so much more. I hope on some level we made you feel as welcomed and as at home as Michael and Don have made me feel. Here's to the next chapter, and to little Guadalupe Rosenberg.
Well done.
That's an ENN.
Oh, is he there? Oh, I brought a special guest.
Who?
Guys, we couldn't say goodbye on this day of all days without talking to a dear friend of the show and an American treasure. Ladies and gentlemen, make some noise for Billy Crystal on the phone.
Wow.
Hey, Billy, how are you?
I'm great. I have never followed a eulogy before. This is this is exciting. I'm listening on the phone. I'm like at Campbell's funeral home and waiting to get a bagel.
I thought you would have gone to Ortiz funeral home, but I appreciate that, Billy. Thank you for waiting through it. Thank you, man.
Guys, you've been so great for so long. You know I've been a fan. I've been, had so much fun coming on the show a few times, going to that Knick game with you guys, and just, it's been a joy to listen to how smart you are, how funny you are, how opinionated you are. It's you've been like the frat pack. I love that you bicker. I love that but you always come to a really great conclusion, and I just wish you all guys, all of you, to have a great future together or apart. Just have fun together.
Thank you so much. Thank you. While we have you, what do you think about Juan Soto going across town?
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened.
He's going to be a Met, Billy. He's going to be a Met.
Bring out that Met hat from City Slickers and throw it on.
I was in London during that Game 5, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm still watching. And I'm watching the Dodgers dance on our field, and watching him alone in the dugout, looking at them. And he looked up to the heavens, and he walked off, and I said, "Oh, he's gone." I could just feel it.
Wow.
And I've been listening to you guys all about it. It was all about the money. It's a shame that we won't have him, but we'll still have a great team. They'll fill all the holes, and we got a lot of them. And my faith in Brian to put this team together.
Well, Billy, we thank you for calling. I don't want to speak for Don, but the fact that you know his name, it means a lot to him.
Billy, just a quick story, because he'll text me during giant losses because they never win anymore.
Right. You don't have to call them games, just losses. Yeah.
And when I get a text at the dinner table or something, my wife will say, "Can you please pay attention to your kids and put your phone down?" And I said, "Nance, Billy Crystal just texted me." "Oh, what did he say? What did he say?" So we're all fans, and it's you don't know you made it in this business until all of a sudden you start to rub elbows with some of the really, truly great people, and you are certainly one of the great people that I've gotten to know here. So for you to be a listener, having kind words for us, and occasionally texting me just absolutely makes my day, and I love you for it.
And Billy, thank you for making time today, too. It's a special day, so you volunteered to do it, and we truly appreciate it.
Well, good luck being a dad, man. That's the greatest job of all.
Oh, by the way, I'm excited to read your book. I'm going to read your book about being a dad. I'm stoked to read it.
Yeah, there's that, and you know, check out my show before on Apple TV.
Yes,
the finale
for sure.
is next week, but it's when you got you can have a little time now to binge. So,
by the way,
I'm so proud of this thing.
I started the show, by the way, man. It is creepy.
Yeah,
it is awesome.
It's like you've never seen Billy before.
Yeah, it is fantastic. Congrats on that. So the finale's next week.
Yeah, but you know, you got a ways to go. I don't know how many of you've seen, but it's really, for me, it was a big swing, and I love being in it, and I love that, you know, people are really liking it. So I didn't call it to plug, but you know, hey, I got you on the air now.
Why not? A true showman, Billy. Thank you, man.
Thank you, Billy.
Thank you.
All right, guys.
The great Billy Crystal, everyone.
That was
Long Beach, New York's own.
I will come back. There's a story that just came out that, you know, Don and I looked at each other, and it just kind of blows our mind, and I think it's going to blow your mind as well.
Yes.
Sun Cruiser Iced Tea Vodka is a proud partner of the ESPN New York Holiday Party. So we'll come back with that, but first, Peter has to tell you about something very important. Friends at Yingling have provided a pair of Devils at Flyers tickets for the Yingling Night Out at Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. That's on January 27th. Keep it locked into the 5 p.m. hour for your chance to win the tickets. And try Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, coming in at just 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories. Raise the bar with Flight by Yingling. So,
what's happening here?
Well, I don't know. Somebody put those there.
Someone sent us in an Uber just like an endless amount of Santa hats.
Well, I'll put one on.
You want to put one on? You guys want Santa hats? Who wants to feel Santa-ish? I feel like there's literally an obscene amount. Don't get excited. I have plenty. You don't need to like fight over them. There's a ton of Santa hats. Does it fit your huge noggin? Barely. It's holding on for dear life.
All right, so the big story yesterday during the Juan Soto press conference was that there was not a Yankee that he spoke to.
Right.
So everybody's going, wow, that's really curious. Why wouldn't they reach out? Well, I mean, I'm sorry, but Juan Soto has to take the hit on this. According to Bob Nightingale of USA Today, he writes, the reason there was no communication between Juan Soto and his former Yankee teammates simply is that Soto changed his cell phone number.
Oh, my. Yeah,
He was bombarded by outside calls during his free agency, wanted privacy. Soto is now reaching out to former Yankee teammates. Don, why did he say that yesterday? Why is he being a jackass?
Why? Because we talked about it yesterday. Why would you paint a picture that because the way it sounded like, no, I didn't hear from anybody. So you say, well, nobody's going to hear from me because I changed my number. He could have told that story, then it's a non-story.
It's a non-story, so he made them look bad.
He wanted to make it out there like nobody reached out to me. This just tells me that he just did not want to talk to anybody. He didn't want any communication at all because it was just a business. I don't think he wanted any kind of personal contact. Right? And if you're going to change your number, we're all going to change our number. Things happen. There was a time Michael accidentally gave his phone number on the air. But when you reach out to the people that you know, like, hey, I changed my number, here it is.
Right.
You wouldn't think your teammates would be the ones not being able to get through.
He's not covering himself in glory.
No,
I'm sorry. I'm not being that guy. Listen, but when you say I haven't spoken to my teammates, but there's no way for them to speak to you.
It's all business with him. It's not personal. It's all business.
But that's not business. That's just being mean. You're making them look bad.
Well, no, that I agree with.
It does give a little bad guy.
Yeah, I mean, I have not spoken to anybody. I don't have a phone in my house, but I'm not going to tell you that.
I mean, they were able to the Mets were able to get a hold of him. Everyone important was able to talk to him.
So you're saying it was strategic to make it seem like they didn't reach out to me. But it ends up getting cleared up the next day anyway, so what's the difference?
I don't get. Well, he didn't clear it up. Nightingale cleared it up. Maybe he got a hold of some Yankees and they said, we tried to call him. The number doesn't exist anymore.
That is very odd, man.
Very odd and very sketchy, to tell you the truth.
No, it doesn't come across as a great team.
Not a great look.
Or somebody that felt like, listen, I didn't need to talk to these people because they're not going to be my teammates. I don't know.
Well, by the way, or it could just mean what we speculated yesterday, which is just they're not that close. So when he got a new number, his first thought wasn't, oh, I better send it to Judgy. We haven't talked all offseason anyway.
But that's cool. But why would you bring it up to the media? I haven't spoken to any Yankees. Why don't you say, I changed my number? I don't know.
When did he change? How long ago did he change it?
Well, he said when free agency kicked in.
Yeah, when free agency kicked in, he was getting inundated with calls, so he changed the number.
But there was time between the season and free agency.
No, he became a free agent the day after the World Series.
So he's saying literally the second it started?
I guess so.
Well, that would be a bad guy.
Speaking of teammates, so when I got here today, there was something wrapped in front of me, and it was from Don. He actually put together an album of pictures of us through the years, and it was so generous and so nice. And look at, I don't know if the camera can.
Well, you're talking about Repug Don. Look at that.
My God.
Look how serious we are.
I got to be honest. I don't know what
are you guys about to kiss?
No.
Look angry. Look like we're going to kill somebody.
No, it looks like we're really upset about something. But I think we could both say we were in our Repug stages.
It's not a great stage right there. Through the years.
One of the best pictures in this is with a young Patrick Mahomes after his rookie year, in which he hadn't played until week 16. And now he's becoming the most recognizable face in sports. That was pretty cool.
Here, that's the picture Don's talking about. There's young Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, what else going on in there?
And Peter is shoveling Nestle's Bunch of Crunch into his mouth. Unbelievable.
Sloppy pig.
Sloppy pig. And Don also put in the picture of when Eli answered the elite question.
Yes.
Oh, wow. There's a photo of that moment.
Yeah. So kind of neat. Thank you, Don. That was
my
really,
pleasure.
Really,
something
really
to
nice.
Remember me by.
I'll remember you in a lot of ways. System of a Down and Korn are coming to MetLife Stadium next summer on August 28th. Head to the contest tile on the ESPN New York app for your chance to win tickets. It's brought to you by Live Nation. Tickets are on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. We'll come back with the 5 o'clock hour. We'll have our picks a little bit later on as well. Hey, it may be the off season, but every season is Big O T season. Well, if you like this show, then you should give this next gentleman a nice warm hand. And if you don't, then throw things at him. This is Tim McCarthy. He is the former GM of the station. And he's the one who came up with the idea of putting me and Don together. And then finishing the cake with a little sprinkle of Peter 13 years after it started. So, in the last show, obviously, it's important to have Tim come by and explain what did you see in putting me and Don together, Tim?
Well, when you see three clowns in the same room,
wow, right?
You know what? Works out well. It's beautiful. Look, fixing me,
yeah,
disaster. Very serious. The chemistry with you and Don has always been wonderful, and everyone had a different role. So when we brought Peter in, Peter had a certain role. Obviously, Mike, you ran the show, and then we had Don who came in, who's the ultimate sports fan of all time, and it just kind of came together. And that self-deprecating humor, these guys have fun together, and that's the great thing about this show, and that's why it's been so successful for so many years.
Well, you had a vision for some reason. I mean, I never thought I was going to do talk radio. And then when ESPN Radio started, I mean, you had sprinkled me in at WABC to do some nighttime shows during the offseason of the Yankees. And you said, let's do this. And you promised I would never have a show before noon. And you put me on at 10. And I'll never forgive you for that.
Hey, Mike, you'll never be on before noon. You sang that on the air.
Yeah.
No, I begged Michael to do a radio show. He did not want to do a radio show. I can't do it. It's not what I do. I can't give these big opinions. And obviously you were wrong once again.
Yep.
And it worked out. And then Don was our first employee we hired at 1050 ESPN. And Don was doing updates, and then we thought Don should do a show, and then Peter came in. It's kind of history, but you guys are part of the New York culture when it comes to certainly media and radio. No shows last 22 years, folks. They don't. They just don't. And this is really legendary what you guys have done and built, and your loyal fans that come out here. I'm really proud of you guys. And the great thing about the station, we're all great friends. We care about each other, and that's what makes it so tough for this show to end. It's not going to end. You guys are all doing different things. You're still going to be on the air, which is great. And Don and Peter would do great with Alan, and Michael's show from 1 to 3 would be awesome. But I think that what you guys have done is really, really just tremendous. If you think about the shows that are on the radio now, you can't pick a show that's been on more than 10 years besides maybe Elvis Duran or folks like that. There's not many of them.
Tim, when the original conversation started happening with you and Justin and Rob Savinelli about let's see if there's a place to use this guy, and you guys put me on, I did some weekend stuff. My first shift I believe ever was with Robin Lumberg. I did different pop-ups here and there, and then you tried me here. How did you realize so quickly, without really a body of work to look at, that the three of us would gel?
I'll tell you, it's like I said before, it's all about the roles. I remember I went up to Yankee Stadium. Michael was doing a day game. And I go up to the stadium and told him what I wanted to do.
Okay.
And Michael looked at me like, are you out of your mind? Isn't that the hip-hop guy? And I'm like, yeah. But Peter's going to know his role, and what he's going to deliver is different. What you deliver is different than what Don delivers. And if you guys all do what you should do, I think it's going to be great. And it was from the beginning. It went much easier. We tried some other things.
Oh yeah,
no names mentioned.
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard about those.
Yeah.
One of them's on the top here.
Yeah. So don't think I'm so smart. That did not work, but this worked, and it's been wonderful.
Well, that was your vision from the beginning of a three-man show. And then when you basically threatened us to take Peter, which you did, we were able to make it work. But
I did threaten.
But
yes.
I want to go back to something that never gets discussed. And that is the decision to move us to afternoon drive, which was a very difficult one because it really interfered with Michael's work and him having to leave early and all that. But I thought that was a major turning point. We were on 10-1, but then moving to afternoon drive, I think, called a lot of attention, opened the door for us to be simulcasted. But just the inner workings of having Michael go from the show directly to the booth and having to do the show from Yankee Stadium, finding a place for him to be able to do it in outside the footprint of Yankee Stadium. It really was a very, very difficult move, but probably the most important move in the history of the show.
Well, it was really tough because you got Mike and the Mad Dog who are killing it on our competition at Fan. But at the end of the day, Don, it's really simple. We needed our best people in the best spot. And you guys were the best folks on the station. We had to move you there, and it just made sense. So Michael K's show as a segue into Yankee games is huge.
Right.
Your sports knowledge is tremendous, and then adding Peter. Listen, we couldn't at the time compete. We had to do something different than competing against Mike and the Mad Dog, which was a tremendous show, a legendary show. So the chemistry that you guys had, bringing someone like Peter in, mixing up self-deprecating humor, some of the things you created, some of the benchmarks in the show, made a huge difference.
I'll tell you one thing that I always remember about this run. For a long time, we didn't really do that well. We didn't have great ratings. We were up against a lot of things, and Mike and Chris were a powerhouse. And I just remember the day in the old place on West End Avenue when we finally beat Francesa. And just the smile on your face.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget that.
Oh, yeah. It was...
because that meant the world, because there was a lot of competition between us and Mike. But Mike's an iconic broadcaster, and he's a legend in this business. And to be able to beat him at his own game after he had said he called us a pea shooter and they'd never come close.
Yep.
And for us to win, that meant... And then we did actually beat everybody they put in front of us after that.
For 2 years, this show was number one with Men 25-54.
And not just between us and Mike. Was that
number one?
All shows.
Number one by far. And here's the thing. We went through a long road between 1050, coming to 98.7, some changing some talent. This group of guys here always were. I would always tell them, stick to the plan. Keep doing what you're doing. It's going to happen. It's like moving a battleship. Once you move it and it starts getting some speed, it's hard to stop, and that's exactly what happened.
I remember the battleship line, and I said, "Does it have to be this slow?"
Listen, we took in a lot of water for a while.
Michael's not the most patient person.
Yeah, but it worked out.
But
so
I was very proud.
I think it's really, really cool that you and your wife Colleen dropped by, because the show's together because of you.
Well, I love you guys, and I'm proud of everything you guys have done.
Thank you,
Love
buddy.
you too.
Thank you.
Tim McCarthy.
Tim McCarthy, guys.
You're great.
Tim, I've told you this many times. You changed my life, man. Really appreciate you. You really did.
You know, Tim and I became such good friends that I was in his wedding party.
I remember.
And I was sitting in the pew during the nuptials, and I just smelled the worst smell of all time. And then I had found out that one of the other ushers had vomited into his cuffs on his tuxedo.
You know, I have to say, that sounds like Tim McCarthy's wedding.
But it wasn't Tim.
No.
And I'm not going to out the person who vomited in the cuff, but it was a beautiful moment.
Well, guess what? I don't smell vomit. I smell fantastic greenery, like I just walked into MSG on New Year's Eve, baby. That's right. You get it? Fish? Bob Wischusen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Show us what you're There you go.
So nice of you to drop by.
You were getting a little misty earlier.
When?
I could see it.
When?
During Peter's speech.
No, I
were.
You know when
were
I
getting a
get
little
misty? When he started to choke up. Because when people cry, it gets me.
Yeah, he did. You held it together literally till the last sentence.
It's like when
I was impressed.
So you cry? You want to cry when you see people cry?
Yeah.
Like wanting to throw up when you see somebody throw up.
No,
like
I love when people.
No, but Michael is right. It does. If you're in a situation that's already emotional on
Right,
some level, and then you hear the person choke, it does.
When I go to a funeral, I'm okay until I see people start to cry, and then I
Which
can't.
that tends to happen at funerals.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
By the way, Bob is the first of the three of you to meet Guadalupe.
What do you mean, how?
He just spent time with Natalie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I mean,
she's doing great.
You've spent time with her before, but there was no Guadalupe. Right now, Guadalupe is there.
Very close.
Fully there, yes.
Very close.
And the second person that met her is Wendy Wischusen. It's right over here.
Wendy Wischusen.
Julie Wischusen has made an appearance here at the show. That is Julie Wischusen. Julie. Who came along.
So she couldn't have been that upset. The fact
Julie,
she still came.
that was all love. I just love alliteration, so I just guessed it was Wendy. That was quite a moment in the show.
That was.
Bob, any chance you just skip the Jets game this weekend? Because why not?
I'm going. But you know what? I'm hoping that maybe I established something today, because I've already had a couple of beers, that maybe I can continue to drink at work.
Oh, you know what? I like the idea.
Just make sure it's a sponsor.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering, are you glad that Rich Rodriguez got the WVU job and not your partner?
I'm also wondering if anyone is going to be able to co-host with you at any point when you do your show, or are you just going to X everybody at the radio station out and just keep all of that airtime to yourself, the way that you've really kind of wanted it to be all these years?
No one will be near me. It will just be me.
The idea would be to turn the tables and because he immediately tried to turn this into as uncomfortable a conversation as possible, as is his want.
But me doing the show alone is very comfortable. It's not uncomfortable at all.
Board op producer, not allowed to speak.
Nobody's.
And you might be one of his myriad of guests.
If Anthony spends the next 15, 20 years with me in the booth, that is as good as it gets.
I love it. Yeah. I love happy stories, happy endings.
I can tell. You're getting misty.
Yeah, I do. I get misty.
Yeah.
But you're not crying, so I won't.
All right, happy endings. Bob Kraft, Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. Surprised that Mr. Belichick is going to UNC?
Yeah. Aren't you?
Yeah, it's not how I saw this story ending.
No, but
I did not picture this.
In a way, a little reflective, I guess, of the desire of the NFL to have him back. Right? I mean, I don't think the phone was ringing off the hook.
See, that's the thing.
That's part of it.
Was this some grand plan to go back to his roots of teaching football, or just this was the only place that offered him a job?
I don't think the phone was ringing off the hook. And I think he wants to coach.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he does, right? Like, coaches coach, right? There are certain guys, obviously, that when they get out of it, they realize that, the grind of it and not being in it every day, it's not that bad to live a life where you're not sleeping in your office.
Like Bill Cowher.
Yeah, but some guys, like Jimmy Johnson, right? Like being on your boat And living in the Keys, not a bad life. But some guys, like, it really is their drug. And for him, you can tell he just wants to coach.
Has there been any story as to, like, why UNC? There wasn't another good big option that wasn't quite UNC? Or did he have to go to some place that would be willing to, quote, gamble on Bill Belichick coaching a college football team?
I don't know. I mean, you been to Chapel Hill?
No, it's great.
It's a great place. It's awesome.
No, it is. It's of those schools that I visited, none of which I could have got into. My brother was visiting. That was the one. Chapel Hill was the one that made me go, you know, if I could have done better than a 3.0, this is exactly where I would have liked to go to
school. It was one of the first games that I did when I started at ESPN and realized that I didn't have to go north to go to college, and I did a football game there in late October. It's like, this is a college.
But listen,
this is incredible. What was I thinking?
I know.
It's apples and oranges, legacy coaching-wise, but it kind of reminds me of, George Allen at Long Beach State, doesn't it? Like the old-time head coach at a small...
This is not... I mean, North Carolina's not Long Beach State.
No, but
he's
not
level.
George... He's not... But I'm just saying, it had that kind of, old-time NFL coach, coaching... Something where you didn't expect his last coaching job.
No one expected him to be a college
George
coach,
Allen is not Bill Belichick. So that's why I said it's apples and oranges.
The most surprising thing to me, not even the destination, it's just that he wants to do this in this climate. Right? Like the world that college sports and specifically college football is now, NIL, there's a reason that Nick Saban's on game day.
And that's his buddy.
There's a reason. Nick Saban is at Alabama, and recruiting guys to Alabama used to be about everything's Alabama, and it's Bear Bryant and the checkerboard and national championships and the mystique. And now he's basically got 18, 19-year-old kids walking in with their hand out going, how much do I make and how much do I play? And he was like, all right, you know what? I'm done with this.
But maybe
I'm going to the media.
Maybe that lends itself to Belichick much more than Saban, because Belichick is used to taking rich kids and making them treat it like a real program where they have to grind.
Maybe,
but he still has to get them to pay them.
And they also sign those rich kids to a contract that makes them rich but keeps them there for several years. Now these guys can 3 or 4 months in. I had a kid this past year at Kansas State who was a Kansas kid, and he was a high recruit. This kid started off committing to Notre Dame, decommitted to Notre Dame, went with Deion at Colorado. It didn't work out well there. He decided to transfer. He went to Western Kentucky. He joined their program. He played the spring game at Western Kentucky. Was like, you know what, not so much, and went to Kansas State. In a year. He was in 18 months played for 4 programs. That is the world of college sports that Bill Belichick is walking into. These kids can all basically, whenever they want, just say, you know what? But not happy here. I'm out.
But we're looking at success as him getting them into the playoffs or them, getting to a bowl game. Will he look at success of, hey, I took that recruit linebacker that probably had no chance of making it to the NFL, and I got him ready as a pro?
He wants to win. Really? You think you think if he goes 6-7?
Well, I don't think he wants to go
6-6.
No, but I'm saying
a bunch of his kids make NFL camps. He's going to be happy.
No, he wants to finish above 5. He wants to be competitive. He wants to win.
Yeah.
But getting kids ready to become pros could be something he might want to do as well. I mean, you're not winning a national championship in North Carolina, are you?
I don't want to talk about Belichick anymore. I want to talk about you guys.
Yeah, wow. You know what?
I want to talk about you guys.
One quick thing that I found out.
Okay.
The reason he actually went to North Carolina, his girlfriend, who's very young, took him to a Chapel Roan concert.
Is that true?
And they started to think Chapel
Roan, Chapel Hill.
Please talk
Sabrina
about
Carpenter.
This is an amazing accomplishment. The fact that you guys, and really calling your shot, right? To do this for 22 years, and you could have done this for as long as you guys wanted to do this. And in New York media, to be able to do this for as long as you guys wanted to do this and walk away from this on your terms, that is a very rare accomplishment and achievement, and I applaud you guys. It's standing up.
We are very lucky.
Part of it's luck, but part of it's made. I mean, you guys made your luck, and so I've been a big fan for a long time.
And I of you, and we all love your work. But I remember when we started working at the Fan, I was doing updates, and you occasionally host, and I was always in awe of just how easy hosting was for you. And then you were doing Rangers, and then when you couldn't do Rangers anymore, I got the opportunity to do Rangers, and I just felt like it was so cool to be able to do the things that you made look so easy. So I always looked at, even though I'm older than you, I always kind of looked up to where you were in your career, and always tried to aim as high as you were able to get. And it's pretty cool that I'm getting a little closer every year.
Now I'm getting misty.
Oh, don't get misty.
You're making me. Am I on the Cup?
Yeah, no. You never worked on the K show.
I didn't get on the Cup. I did work on the K show. I worked with you guys. I was a co-host. I thought I might have made the Cup.
He popped in regularly.
I'm going to take another look.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, and this might ruin.
There's a lot of names on the Cup for me to not make it.
this might ruin the kumbaya aspect.
Yeah.
Whenever you would do on-field stuff for the Jets, and Dom would do the first minute of the third quarter play-by-play, he was hoping you didn't make it up.
I know.
Yeah. You know that, right?
That's fine.
Let's be honest. Was I disappointed when the door swung open?
Yeah, maybe the elevator gets stuck.
He paid the guy.
No, because the plan would always be he'd leave at the 2-minute warning of the second quarter.
Right.
So I knew I had those 2 minutes. And for whatever reason, there's always something going on in the last 2 minutes of a half. No matter what the score is, no matter what. So I got that. And they'll always say, and there's a pretty good chance you'll get the first series of the third quarter. I never got the first series of the third quarter.
Bob wants
to. But there was always the carrot, like, be ready. Greg didn't care. You just wandered him into whatever area of the booth he needed to be in. So, yeah, the only time I'd be disappointed to see Bob would be to start that third quarter.
If I would have known that you wanted the third series or the first series of the third quarter that badly, the media buffet was right there.
I was going to say, stop, go to the bathroom, give yourself a minute.
Get a nice coffee.
I had no idea I could have swung by and fattened up.
But I was wondering if you felt the vibe, because the vibe was one of hate.
No, I see that you always go someplace dark.
Yeah.
No, he was never hate. He left me his board. Like, he could not be nicer. There's no hate. That's the way you think.
Yeah.
You have hate in your heart. I got love in my heart.
It's really, again, I go out with a standing ovation, but there's really only one way that you can go.
There is only one
and
way.
that is, can I cause problems?
And treat someone in a way that makes them feel sad.
Is there a way? Accomplishment for him is, I leave the stage, Anthony Becht and I are in a fight,
right.
Don and I don't like each other, tension has been caused.
Wendy, Dave Filoni's upset.
Wendy doesn't like me, right? She's angry. I have to call the show back and correct things.
It's always, you are a wrecking ball.
I'm an irritant.
You really are.
Yeah, that's true.
Thank you for coming by. And we appreciate you always being on the show.
You guys are the best.
Thank you so much.
You'll be the reason I'm listening.
Have a happy holiday, buddy.
You guys are awesome.
Bob Wischusen, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
All right, he's going to make Jags great again.
The only thing good about the Jets.
Peter, I think there's an Amazon ad right there, and you have to read it right now.
I will.
Our good friends at Amazon.
We love Amazon. Hey, guys, I want to talk to you about Amazon.
Is a proud partner of the ESPN New York Holiday Party. We are here at Tommy's Tavern and Tap in Clifton, New Jersey. Place is jammed. We can't thank all of you enough for being here. I know you waited outside in the cold before the show began, and that was so cool because, as Don always said, you are family to us. So thank you. We can't thank you enough. Funny thing just happened.
What's that?
So I had to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
Now, because there's such a big crowd, there's a huge line. So everybody said, let him through, he's a VIP. Which I'm uncomfortable with. I'm not, but I'm going back on the air.
Right.
And then a guy right in the front said, he's not a VIP, he's a VIPP.
Oh.
So they allowed me to go.
And you went?
I went.
PP.
So thank you to everybody in the bathroom. Thank you very much.
Good thing it was number one, because
that would not have been good.
Everything.
That would not have been good. So for those watching on Yes, who's this little guy?
Well, the one on my leg is Marco. It was sports day today, so he wanted to wear.
Nice.
Even though I hate the black Met jerseys, he likes the black jerseys.
Well, that's important. That's why they're there.
And my nephew Declan is
Declan.
Here. Both big Met fans, although Marco's still deciding between the two. Marco, have you decided, are you a Met fan or Yankee fan?
I don't know.
You don't know?
Yankees, do it.
I like both.
You like both?
But Marco, I can get you tickets to games at Yankee Stadium.
See, that's fine. But you're a Met fan, Declan, right?
Yeah.
So who's your favorite player?
Lindor.
All right, Lindor.
Nice.
And who's your favorite baseball player, Marco?
Aaron Judge.
All right, Aaron Judge.
Got to be Yankees.
And what's your favorite hockey team?
The Rangers.
All right.
Oh, love it. See, when this show started, there was no Marco, there was no Declan, there was no Callie, there was no Charlie, and there was no soon-to-be Guadalupe. So you have all been part of our lives as our lives have changed. We got married, not together.
No, not yet, anyway.
Don married Nancy, I married Jody, Peter married Natalie, and soon to be a dad, and she's soon to be a mom. So a lot of things have happened over these 22 years.
A lot of things have happened.
A lot of good things.
Ups and downs.
Yeah.
A lot of ups, though.
Yeah, a lot of ups. You know, the nicest thing that people say to me, I don't know if you guys feel the same way, a seminal moment in this country's history is what happened during COVID, where people couldn't go out. There was very little things to do other than watch what was streaming. There was no live sports on, things like that. When people come up to me and go, you guys got us through it for 3.5 hours a day, that makes what we do totally worth it, that we could help in that manner during such an unbelievably awful time. So if we did even a little bit to get you through those trying times, that's cool, and it's something we can never forget. And, you know, when I was walking outside talking to everybody, you know, a loved one passed, and it was a sad time, and I listened to your show to get through it, and you made me laugh and made me forget about some of the bad things that were going on. There's no better compliment. There really is no better compliment than that.
Well, I think for me, the reason I find that so impactful is that's what I always liked about radio. The reason I thought radio was such an awesome medium is because there's an element of keeping you company that radio provides that's different than other things. Like, it's one thing to watch a TV show and know it was recorded at some point, and now they're playing it back and it's a performance. It's different to be connected by hearing people live talking to you, you know? Yep. And I really think that as big as podcasting has gotten, it's obviously a huge thing. It's very similar to radio. It does miss that one thing that live radio has. You know, that element of it's literally right this second is special and different.
But this medium, as you said, it's changing. But like with television, you decide I'm going to sit down for 30 minutes, hour, whatever, and watch this program. But radio goes with you, whether you've got you're stuck in traffic or you put your headsets on when you're going on a subway. You could take it with you, and that's why I think we're kind of a part of each other's lives. That's why I always felt that it's family. You got so many choices of what to listen to and what to make a part of your life every single day. And for the people to choose us, that is awesome.
It's a little under an hour.
A little under an hour.
To the end?
Yeah.
Although Marco wanted to make an announcement. Marco, what did you just tell me?
Marco?
I actually like the Yankees better.
Oh, yes. Good job.
So should I take this off and throw it out?
What is flawed?
What did Marco, what did you say? Say it again. Louder. What did you say?
What is flawed?
No, not that. What did real Marco say? What did you say about the Yankees?
I like the Yankees.
You do?
Yeah.
More than the Mets? Wow.
Because Papa K just tried to extort him with tickets, bribed him with tickets.
Uncle Mikey.
Right there, you just said, hey, you want to go to a game?
Any game you want to go to, I will give your dad tickets, Marco. Okay?
Wow, that is all it takes.
Yep. I have nothing to do with Mets. I can't help you.
I need Uncle Howie Rose to come through with tickets for the Mets.
Or Uncle Gary.
I don't know Gary as well as
it would be a stretch to call him Uncle Gary.
Yeah, even Uncle Howie was a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'd say Uncle Howie was a stretch, but Uncle Gaz, really, that's tough.
You know, this has been a different sort of show today.
Yes.
So, I mean, Anthony, I hope you're monitoring what's going on in sports. I don't want to miss a big story.
Yeah, we didn't miss, you know.
And by the way, Anthony Pusick, get up here.
Get up here, Anthony.
Because, no, he can stand behind us. This is our producer, Anthony Pusick, who takes all of our nonsense and puts the show together and gets the guests and screens the calls. He really is everything to the show. So we finally got him out to a remote, and there's the guy with the Pusick. This is the guy with
Isn't
the
it
Pusick.
beautiful?
Wow, Pusick
All right,
chant.
yeah, how about that?
This is a special day. Anthony's first remote with us is the last show.
That's the way to go out.
It is perfect, though.
And also, I wanted to give a shout out. Kofi's here. He's the one
Kofi
that's always
so
giving
great.
us stats. He's always DMing me stuff, either correcting us or enhancing our broadcast for no money, which is amazing.
Let's see.
Anthony does that too.
That is true. So Kofi, thank you so much, buddy.
RJ Santillo is here.
Is he here? Where is he? RJ.
He's in the other room.
Look down. If you see RJ down there.
No.
Oh, that was
well,
terrible.
no, because we want to be found. If you want to find RJ, don't look up.
You can't look up.
Now, one thing, we've been having fun over this past week asking guests, where are they going to stay? Are they going to stay with my show? Are they going to stay with Don Hahn and Rosenberg? Anthony Pusick was given the choice, and he wants to stay with Don Hahn and Rosenberg.
You hear that, RJ?
And it's hurtful because he's from Fordham, and he chose to leave a Fordham Ram alone. It's sad. But I'll find a producer, right?
You already have a producer.
Oh, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to say it yet.
No, you're not allowed to say it, but it's already been
Can
made
I say
clear.
it, John?
Ray
Dinahan. Ray Dinahan, the great Ray Dinahan.
And the great thing, when Michael told him he can't speak, Ray was good with that.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want to
All mics in the studio will be shut off but mine.
By the way, while we're showing love, DJ Juanito's been DJing for us today, of course.
Good job. Where's the Natster? Does she want to come on Tiwi?
Natalie is here. I don't know if Natalie wants to come on Tiwi. Where is Natalie? She's fine.
All the family's here.
She's eating right now, I'm told. She's feeding Guadalupe as we speak. Ballard is here with her.
Ballard's here.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Ballard had some nice words on social media for
you,
me.
not
I
for
thought
me.
That was very nice.
Yeah, not for me.
Thank you, Ballard.
Thank you, Ballard, for the nice words on me.
The great Maria Marino is here.
Where's Maria
Where?
Marino?
She's in the other room.
I'm a big Marino fan.
Yeah, me too. Ray Santiago
is here.
You know what I say about Ray Santiago?
What's that?
Who's been to Santiago, Chile twice in 1 year? There you go.
What is that from?
It's from, come on, you don't know?
No.
From Something About Mary.
Good movie.
Who's been to Santiago, Chile twice in 1 year?
I didn't remember either, but I knew it was from something. I didn't remember what it was.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. You put that on an SAT. I know
I know it's from something.
I've been doing it for 10 years.
No, I know you have. You've said it many, many times.
And if you don't know, that's on you. Don't you want to educate yourself?
Well, no, and you're right. And it's gutless. It's gutless that I've never said, what exactly are you saying?
Right, exactly.
Well, you didn't care. I don't know if it's gutless.
I can't.
Willful ignorance.
Even worse, willful ignorance.
Now, coming up is our final pick segment.
Oh, boy.
Starting off poorly for me.
Uh-oh.
Great for me.
Brock Purdy, I wanted to kick him in the teeth.
That pick must have broken you, didn't it?
Oh, my, I'm in the car.
That pick was awful.
And I'm going, now they're going to score a touchdown, and I'm going to lead. I'm going to be in the lead.
Yeah.
But then I kept envisioning they're going to miss the extra point.
Right.
But that would give me a push. That'd be okay.
Yeah, but guess what? That didn't happen.
No, it didn't happen.
He threw it directly to the
Rams.
Rams.
And the guy that everybody said was going to be the best quarterback, he's not even going to get a contract from the 49ers. If he had taken them in the playoffs this year like he did last year, he's going to get $50 million a year.
That's why this is probably a good thing for them. Because if they had gone to the playoffs, maybe won a game, he played okay, not great, you'd be obligated to give him $40, $50 million a year. He took it to a Super Bowl, but now falling on his face, maybe it's better.
Would they actually think about having Aaron Rodgers live out his dream?
I think maybe. Honestly, wouldn't you give it a try?
Yeah.
You've got the
With
talent,
Shanahan?
you got the line, you got Shanahan.
Yeah.
I know you've been down on Rodgers and how he's played. Would it be so Jets?
Anyone who has eyes is down on Rodgers.
But wouldn't it be so Jets for him to go someplace else and find it again? For like 1 year?
It feels impossible, but it would be so
Like,
Jets.
could you see him going to San Francisco and they go on a run?
No, I can definitely see
Well, Kyle Shanahan, if Marco could go out there right now, I think they'd go on a run next year. I really believe that. You said this earlier. I mean, the fact they may be lucky that they had this year where Purdy was bad and showed them what he was, but if you really think about it, it's not fair. When they throw up the losses to that team this year, injury-wise, it's insane. The fact that they compete every week really shows that Shanahan's a freak.
Is it possible they never wanted to give him big money, but would feel like they had to because of the fact that he at least played in a Super Bowl and he's a great story, but now maybe they've got a little bit on the PR side of not giving him the money.
Well,
they end up having a bad year.
The number for Purdy is an interesting conversation because he can still play. You think he's just terrible?
No, he's not terrible. I think he's an average quarterback, maybe average.
It's interesting to see what he'll get. Is he as good as Sam Darnold?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so. Not this year.
He has about as much good tape as Sam does, right? He's got one full great season.
Yeah, but the most recent tape is
It's not what you want, is what you're saying.
I got to ask you a question.
Yes,
John.
please.
How are you not making money off this kid modeling? I don't get it.
Yeah, he's good looking. Marco, you're a good looking
little
kid.
boy, right?
What do you think? What do you say?
He says, I don't care. I don't understand.
No, Michael's saying you're a good looking boy. What do you say?
Thank you.
All right.
You're welcome.
But you know what, Don?
He's so shy.
By the way, first of all, did you realize that Marco he doesn't care about looks? So you thought he was being a bad guy by not saying thank you. It's deeper than that.
Yeah.
He's on a different plane. You're complimenting his physical appearance. He's like, what are looks, bro? He doesn't understand that.
And Declan's a good looking kid, too. Don't forget.
Declan's very handsome, yes. Both of them should be in modeling.
Declan, would you ever consider modeling?
I don't think so.
Wow.
No. What would you currently be interested in doing, Declan?
I want to be a YouTuber, maybe.
A YouTuber?
You know what? I got to tell you, it's on the table these days.
Uncle Peter wants to be that, too.
Yeah, we can unbox stuff together.
Yeah.
All right, I'm sorry. Marco's got one more thing to say.
Okay.
He wants to straighten things out. Go
All
ahead.
right, let's get it right.
The last time I was trying to say the Mets don't like the Yankees.
The Mets don't like the Yankees. It's not that you like the Yankees, and the Mets don't like the Yankees.
Because the last time on the show, he said the Giants didn't like the Yankees, and it bothered him all the rest of the
Oh,
Oh.
good job.
By the way, a lot of people have been waiting for that to get cleared up.
They're waiting for that correction.
And now
Thank
we
you,
got the
Mark.
correction. Thank you, Marco.
All right, NFL picks coming up in just a moment. Hey, Michael K here to tell you about my friends at Shines. our picks. More importantly, they're important people that you have to meet, because what goes on the air, there's people behind the scenes that give us the latitude to watch games and things like that. And Peter's lovely wife, Natalie, is up here right now. And
Michael, I just have one question.
Yeah.
Can I join?
You can join.
Can I join? Can I join that?
And when does Guadalupe join?
January 25th is our due date.
Are you pumped up?
Pumped up.
Oh, she's pumped up.
I don't know what I am. I'm nervous. I'm excited. It's scary, you know.
Do you like the name that I've given the child? Guadalupe?
I love the name.
Yeah. I love
Lil
Lupe.
Gigi.
Yeah, Lil Gigi.
or just for short, Guada, I think is really
Not
nice.
Lupe? You don't want
No, Lupe's too obvious. Not
Okay.
enough Guadas out here.
And this is Rocky, by the way, Peter's support dog.
Yeah, Rocky is here.
Not by choice. Even though we love him to be here, he just will have a heart attack if we
Yes,
don't bring him.
We do not want him to have a heart attack.
No.
Now, we also want to bring up a couple people. The guy who was the producer of the show when we went to number one, Andrew Gunling.
Yes. Wait,
Andrew Gunling has made his way here.
Wow. Okay, I have to give him my headset. He's
Natalie, watch your step.
That's Andrew.
Andrew
Gunling.
The Gunling.
Look at that.
Wow, I did not expect this.
How about that?
Wouldn't miss this.
Wow.
Would never have missed this.
And Andrew really, without giving his location, he traveled a long way to be here. So we appreciate that on a Friday night coming into Jersey.
Looking like you walked right out of the Lego box and into the bar.
The hair is unchanged.
Look at that. Lego Man is here. Wow. And there are a lot of people here.
There's one more we have to bring up.
Yeah, this is a big one.
This guy started us really on the road to where we ended up becoming a successful show. And then because of that, he ended up becoming the program director of the station. And the station then very unwisely, in budget cuts, let him go. But when somebody's this talented, they get another job. And this is Ryan T. Hurley.
What's up, boys?
And talk about kumbaya. Ryan is now the program director at The Fan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at that. Good job. You got to rep the brand. Got to rep the brand, baby.
Right here, baby.
Oh, this is so cool, man.
Ryan's awesome, and also the guy he works with at FAN, Chris Oliveira.
Incredible.
Hit us with a couple of texts today. He's a sweet guy as well. So, you know we love you, buddy, and thank you for coming out here. This is a longer ride from you, too.
Yeah, this
You're
is
in Long
insane.
Island.
I got off the train at Secaucus. I didn't think it would be a 40-minute Uber, but God bless. I didn't.
God bless.
This is amazing. All the people out here, incredible.
Put in
crowd,
for it.
incredible turnout. Put in for it.
Wait, hold on. And by the way, someone looked down, and if you look down, you know what you'll found.
R.J. Santillo.
Get R.J. up here. Come on up, R.J. Santillo. Yeah, down at the Kids Make Sense. Good layout.
Now, I love R.J. Santillo. Love him. And R.J.'s the producer of DiPietro and Rothenberg.
Yeah. I think those people are aware.
Wow, it's a nice reunion. And R.J. used to work with Andrew, and then he decided to just unceremoniously leave us.
Well, that's aged. That's aged pretty well.
And yeah, Ryan could tell. When Ryan called me up and told me, I said, "Are you out of your mind? How could we let him go?" And Ryan said, "Just shut up and let it happen." And you've turned that show into a successful show.
Yes. Well, you didn't ask, but can I say something really serious real quick? Because I only get a second.
Oh, here we go.
I remember looking at you guys at one point and said, take a look around because I think this is the most talented room any of us will ever work in. And I remember that moment. I loved working with you guys, and you made it special.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Very, very. So we get kind of the glory. We're on the microphone. We're on the TV. But there's so many people behind the scenes that make it work. Ryan, Andrew, RJ. You've met a lot of them tonight. So
Joey Salvia,
Gigi. I mean, the list goes on and on. Ryan Rucco texted me today, and he kind of started with us as well. And now he's
Beetle texted me today.
Yeah, Beetle didn't text me. So
no. Her text was angry. It wasn't positive.
Really?
How did I not know today was the last day?
Oh, well. No, I guess she lives in a cave.
I mean, or it's possible she's not, reading Andrew Marchand every 15 minutes. One or the other. But yeah, she didn't know.
Anyway, I would love all of you people that are family to give these people a really nice hand because they are why we were successful. So from all of that now, we have to go to the incredibly mundane picks.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
Well, we don't have to get into great detail. Just
you know what? I'll just give my two. All these guys are still here. I'm going to go crazy. My 1-point play, I'm going to take the Broncos giving 4 over the Colts. And my 3-point play, this is going to shock you, Don.
Let's see.
It's going to shock you. It's going to shock all of you.
Let's see. Shock the world.
My 3-point play, the New York Jets. 3.5-point favorites over the Jaguars. If they can't beat the Jaguars, they stink.
Well, they kind of do, man.
We'll see if they really stink.
I think the jury's in.
Yeah.
You want to go next, Don?
All right. My 1-point play, I'm going to go to Monday night.
All right.
Falcons in Vegas against the Raiders. Raiders are getting 4. I like the Falcons to cover that number as my 1-point play. Raiders are beat up. Falcons certainly need the game. I'm going to go with the Falcons there. My 2-point play. It's a big one, guys. Josh Allen getting 2.5. I don't care. It's in Detroit. Bills are going to bounce back after losing that wild game against the Rams. They're not going to lose 2 in a row. They're going to beat the Lions. I think they're going to beat them outright. I'll take the 2.5. The Bills are getting as my 2-point play.
You're going against your Lions.
That's all right. I think the Titans are not that great, even though they're home. Bengals need the game. Maybe they're going to get things going here. My 3-point play, I've got Cincinnati. Given 5.5, I got Cincinnati covering the 5.5 in Tennessee against the Titans. It's my 3-point play.
Peter, things go well now. You could actually end the run of the show ahead of me.
I know.
A lot of pressure.
I got a big win last night with my 3-point play in the Rams. I'm going to go right up against Don head-to-head on my 2-point play. Give me Detroit at home, giving the points. A little 2-game slide for the Bills as we head down the stretch here. Get everyone a little bit nervous. And my 1-point play, I like the Packers in a bounce-back spot. Ballard came out. Why not? Giving 2.5 at Seattle. Seattle's a pretty good football team. I like the Pack to get the win on the road.
All right, now what's Bears pick?
Bear, you know what? I got to say, Bear likes the Bears this week.
Loves the Bears.
He loves the Bears. They're playing at the Vikings, getting 7. He thinks the number is big, and his quote was, Caleb Williams will not go silently into that good night.
That was Bear.
That was Bear's quote.
All right, and how about 45-47?
I gotta think. I like the Chiefs, Michael.
Yeah.
I like the Chiefs.
They haven't covered in 7 straight.
I know, but I like Brittany Mahomes. It's fake. I like the cut of her jib. And I don't like Travis Kelce. No. His girlfriend's a wise ass.
By the way, it's her birthday today. She's 35.
Who's that?
His girlfriend.
I hate her guts. But I love the Chiefs. Give me the Chiefs.
Wow. There you have it. Anybody else we miss?
Yeah, I haven't heard back from Boone.
Boone's he shot you down.
Last week, shoot me down, and maybe I just remembered to text him now, so we might have to wait a little while for that one.
I don't know
what going on.
Ballard, yell out your picks. I don't know what Ballard's picks are. Did we get them? Anthony, we know Ballard's picks?
Sure.
Oh, they're on Twitter. They're on Twitter. I can't get them.
All right, it's game time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey. Just one local in action tonight. The Nets visit the Grizzlies at 8. You can see that on Yes. That's game time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, and triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the brand new Tullamore Dew Honey during tonight's action. Glasses up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. When we come back, the final half hour. You guys ready? You ready? All right, so that'll happen in just a moment. Peter, get back up here. You have a read to do. Stop hugging people. Peter, read, FanDuel. He's done. You can't wait for Monday.
That's not true. Well, let me talk to you about FanDuel Sportsbook for a second, guys.
Picks brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. Only one game tonight. Carolina playing host to Ottawa, so I'm going to go Sebastian Aho, anytime goal scorer for the Carolina Hurricanes. That's Ice Picks brought to you by Samuel Institute for Pain Management. For a pain-free life, visit samuelbain.com today.
So, the manager of the American League Champions just texted, but I don't know what that means. It's a GIF or a GIF.
Of
Cowboys?
No, because it's the Falcons Raiders. And did he text me the same image? Yes, he did.
Yeah, but I don't know what that means. Maybe that's just, a guy tipping his cap and saying, good job on 22 years. I don't know.
I guess so.
Wow.
That's odd.
Well, Flight by Yingling.
He's going with Raiders, guys. He sent me another emoji. Look at that with the flying Raider flag. So he's going against me on Monday night. Raiders for Boone.
Flight by Yingling is a proud partner of the ESPN New York Holiday Party. Two names that I definitely want to bring up. We're giving a lot of love to people that meant a lot to what we've done, and we should mention Rob Astorino and Aaron Spielberg. They were both involved with the show heavily, no longer with the station, but still friends for sure. So we thank them for everything that they did, and guys that have been with us for the longest time, and Vinny DeMarco and Pete Doherty and the sales staff, which has been rock solid with us for 22 years. So, that's it, Don. This is a home stretch right now.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I don't really feel it. As far as like I haven't been. It hasn't become a reality for me yet because it's been such a habit for 22 and a half years. Like I've got Marco here, and before him, Declan. Going to work meant you're going to Michael K.
Right.
My mom's saying, when's Michael K going to allow you to take a day off? So no, he's not my boss. I just happen to work with him.
Right.
But that's kind of what the reality of my life has been for over 2 decades, and to have it come down to one last segment. It hasn't sunk in at all yet. It just has not become a reality. What about you?
Well, why don't we just play Don't Stop Believing and go black?
That could be a way to end it,
That could be a way to end it, yeah. But what we want to amplify to everybody, and I said this earlier in the week, it's nothing to be sad about. Obviously, what we've done and this chemistry is not going to be on the radio anymore. But Don and Peter and Alan Hahn are going to have a great show. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to go from 1 to 3. And, so many people have asked me about that. And Bob Wischusen was nice enough to say, you're all lucky that you can, call your shot. And I give the people at Good Karma and ESPN credit for that. I definitely, at my age, I needed to streamline things just a little bit and probably would not be able to keep up this pace for much longer, and they deserve to have a longer runway for the show. And with Alan, Don, and Peter, it's an endless runway. They could do this for another 22 years. And for me, I go from 1 to 3, and, it's a lot easier for me. 3 o'clock, I head to the stadium. I do the Yankee game. There's 4 hours in between. And during the winter, I could be there when my kids could get off the bus from school. So it wasn't about anything other than that. So I thank the bosses at ESPN and also at Good Karma for letting it happen and keeping these guys together.
Like Tim said, this doesn't happen. Shows don't last for 22 years. They just don't. So it was just a natural thing to happen. And like you said, we're all going to be out working at the same radio station. We're still going to do a bunch of things together. So it's not an end. It's just a little something different. But still, different is jarring when it's going to be different for the first time in that long a period of time. Of course, Peter's been a part of it for 9 years, but the connection that I've had with Michael for over 22 years, although it's still going to exist in a different form, it's not going to exist in this form. So it's going to be very, very strange, very odd waking up Monday. As much as I'll be looking forward to working with Peter and Alan, it's going to be different that it's not going to be the Michael K. Show, and it's not going to be with you and meeting with you and it about all that. So kind of crazy, all the things that we've been through, Michael. Seeing Tim, seeing Ryan, seeing Anthony, seeing Andrew, RJ Santillo, takes me back. Listen, I don't want to go into tremendous detail, but if people knew the obstacles that we had to overcome to get to number 1, they'd appreciate it a lot more than I think people do. Whether it was the battle with getting more local programming on this station, going up against a monolith like WFAN and an amazing show like Mike and Chris, to eventually getting to where we are now, not only getting a chance to be number 1 for a while, but to be a part of the New York sports landscape for more than 2 decades. That was really hard, man. It was a hard thing to do. It was hard for Michael to juggle both the Yankees and an afternoon drive show and making it work. The other thing I'm very proud of, Michael, is the amount of time we were able to create a connection and not be in the same room.
Mm-hmm.
Peter could probably understand that, but there were so many times, Peter, that we were growing a radio show and Michael would be in Boston or Toronto or Cleveland and I'd be back in New York. And then later on, Michael would be back in the studio and I'd be in Minnesota or Toronto, and we're completing each other's sentences and we're making something work. And that was a challenge, but every challenge was met with optimism. Every challenge was met with 110%. And I could not be more proud of everything that this show accomplished. I can't speak for Michael, but I can tell you, I don't know what lies ahead for me, but I can tell you in the 30-plus years I've been in this business, I'm not prouder of anything more than I am of this radio show.
I want to tell a little bit of a funny story because Don's going to write the book one day because he has a better memory than me. But when we first started the show, especially on Afternoon Drive, because FAN had the rights to the Mets and onto the Yankees.
Right.
So I could not do the show in the footprint of Yankee Stadium or Shea Stadium. I couldn't. I wasn't allowed. So it made it difficult, and I have to do it from a trailer in the parking lot of Yankee Stadium, the old stadium. And since the new stadium opened in 2009, it's a shipping container on the second floor, and there are rodents in there and everything. And then I have to run from the shipping container all the way up to the booth and tape the open. And I'm not complaining. I've got a blessed job and a blessed life. But one day they said, let's try to do. What are they going to do? Try to do the radio show in the Yes booth at Shea Stadium. And our program director at the time was a guy by the name of Mike Thompson, who was an outside-the-box thinker. And I started doing the show. FAN complained to the Wilpons. The Wilpons complained to Mike Thompson. Mike Thompson says, well, he's not leaving the booth. So I'm doing my show, and Don's back at the studio. And 2 New York City police officers came in and said, you've got to stop broadcasting, or we're going to take you out of here in handcuffs. Wow. And so Mike Thompson said, do it. Do it. Because he wanted the picture of me being let out of Shea Stadium in handcuffs. You know, the perp walk. And the police said, if he doesn't stop, we're going to start. We're going to do that. He goes, good. That'll be a great shot. You're going to arrest the voice of the New York Yankees. And the police officer said, well, we're arresting a guy who's breaking the law and doing a radio show. And Mike Thompson said, well, it's the same person. Go do it. And then after he played this up and he saw that they were really getting set to put handcuffs on me, he said, all right, stop. And then Don took the rest of the show.
Yeah.
And another funny Shea Stadium story. Again, we couldn't do the show at Shea Stadium, so they had us do a show at a spot on the bridge that walks from Shea Stadium to the U.S. Open. And we're doing it. There's a tent over us.
Wait, was the U.S. Open happening?
No. Okay. No, it might have been. It might have been.
I'm not.
No.
It's just that would be the 7 train. Of like,
I know
where the
exactly.
Apple is now.
I know exactly where it is.
Boardwalk.
It just would be more appealing if the actual U.S. Open's happening.
The skies opened up.
Right, I've heard this.
And it was one of the worst storms you've ever seen, and the tent blew off onto the tracks of the Long Island Railroad.
Right.
Don and I are sitting there soaking wet, and we thought, well, they're going to let us get off the air. And one of the sponsors of the show was the Hummer vehicle.
Yes.
And they said, Michael, Don, get in the back seat of the Hummer. I never thought I'd hear that. And do the show. And we did the show on phones in the back seat of a Hummer. Once again, because they wouldn't let us in Shea Stadium.
Just to make it work, just to make it happen.
Wow.
How about the time they had you on the
side of the highway?
Side of the highway, New Jersey Turnpike.
Oh yeah, doing a before a Giants playoff game. I was on the shoulder of Route 3, not too far from here, because we couldn't go and do it from Giant Stadium, but we were able to do it from our transmitter, which was located right there in Secaucus.
What's the upside of doing that?
Well, the upside was, hey, well, all these people are going to be stuck in traffic, and they'll see you on the shoulder doing the show.
That looks good.
With Paul Dottino. No, it didn't look good. It was embarrassing, but we did it, and we made it work. Listen, we had to think outside the box, because remember, when we first started, Peter, we were a pea shooter.
Oh, I know.
We didn't exist. We were a fly on the ass of WFAN. And eventually we crawled right up there and lived there for a good few years.
That is an interesting way to put
this. To the
this.
point now where they're taking our town. So a lot was accomplished in the last 20-plus years that many people didn't think would ever happen.
And then when you see a crowd like this, it's enlightening. Because sometimes when you're talking into a microphone in a studio, you don't know who's on the other side. And the rating system in radio is so ridiculous. It's ridiculous when we won, and it's ridiculous when we lost. But you don't really get a grasp of who's consuming you. Are you talking into air? Are you talking into a vacuum? Because that's what keeps me from getting nervous when I'm on the air, because I just don't picture that. I just think I'm, talking to myself.
Agreed.
But when you walk around this place today, and then you see people jam-packed and standing here for 3.5, 4 hours.
And giving us stuff.
What's that shirt? Let me see the shirt that was gifted to us over there.
And then somebody, what's your name? Devin just gave me a blanket,
a beautiful Giants
and
blanket.
He's gonna go and buy another one.
Make some noise for Devin, everyone.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, Devin.
All right.
Thank you, Devin.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, man. Very cool of you. Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah. Even though yes doesn't.
What is that? What is that shirt? Can someone? Look, I can't see the shirt. Can you see it? Let me put my glasses on. That's where I'm at now. I think it's time for me to go.
It's time for me to go.
Oh, you can pass it up here. Pass it up here.
Yeah, there you go.
And boy, that's literal today.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's
How am I a Yankees boy? And
How am I a Yankee boy, sad-faced on the front.
Right.
And then on the back, I think it's time for me to go with a picture of all of us.
He gone.
And you signed it, Michael. That's nice.
Uh-oh, we have something else coming up here.
What do we have?
Oh, no,
We have a
more?
cake.
Oh, more cake.
Cake.
Oh, is this Calandras?
Calandras.
We love Calandras.
Very
While
cool.
they're bringing up the cake, too, we've brought up all of our former producers and program directors and general managers. Should give John Winthrop some love. He is our current PD.
Oh, yes, that'll be nice.
Oh, this is great.
He is doing a great job with everything going on here with the
Thank you,
lineup
John.
changes and all that. So good job,
Peter,
John.
can you take the end so we can show it to the camera?
Oh, is this just a beautiful standard heavy sheet cake from
Look at
Calandras?
that.
This is a beautiful. I love a good sheet cake.
No sheet.
No, seriously.
No,
swear. Wow. Thank you
we
so
can go
much.
viral dumping it on Michael's head. If
Oh, that would be something.
I actually thought about that, but I have a long drive home.
And no, it's expensive cake.
Yes,
that's
it's
a really
great
nice cake. I want some of that cake.
You don't use Calandras products as a prop.
No, this isn't your
That is so
everyday
nice.
sheet
I don't know
cake.
how we're bringing
By the way, everybody, I don't want to tell secrets out of school, but I smell Bourbons right now.
Wait a second.
Yeah, I was going to say. You know what?
I do. A little of the good, as they say in the business.
I'm wondering, is it on the blanket?
It was. I don't know, but
Is this a giant blanket?
There's pot here.
Oh, did someone take a toke of the old Bourbon?
Well, listen,
they might have.
I love the pot smokers, but the one little flaw you have is that you don't think you stink them. You rub some leaves on your fingers, you put in asserts, and you think, I'm good.
No,
you're not.
You're not good. Not that. I think this may be getting smoked as we speak.
Do you, or do you think it was Winthrop?
Could have been Ventura.
You know what? It's possible.
No. It just
By the way,
now. He was here an hour ago.
By the way, you guys want some funny behind the scenes? When I went up to Jesse when he first got here,
yeah,
I don't know Jesse Ventura. I idolized the man as a wrestling broadcaster, but I don't know him. I went up to him, and when I went to greet him,
right,
I was like, "Oh, thank you for coming, Governor." And he goes, "They almost didn't let me in here. I almost walked out." And there were F-bombs. There were F-bombs being thrown.
Really?
Oh, he was not happy. Whoever the security guard was who stopped him at the door was unaware that he was the former governor.
But I will tell you this: that same security guard who's doing a great job,
right,
wouldn't let me in. How is he supposed to know who we are?
I mean, listen, it's one of those things.
I think he's done a great job. So the security over there did an unbelievable job. Thank you.
Listen, I'm not going to clap because I got to see Jesse tomorrow. I think you could have eased up on the gov, but no, you did a great job. But then we warmed him up, and 2 seconds later, he seemed to forget
It's
about
like an
it.
old car.
Yeah, you just got to rev him up a little bit.
So when does the NBC thing happen? 8 o'clock tomorrow?
8 o'clock
Is
tomorrow.
this the first time you're on network television?
Yeah. Yes, I'm very excited to be a part of the show. How much will I end up on the show? That remains to be seen because it's all a matter of how much they end up doing backstage.
Right.
They may end up not doing anything backstage, and I'll end up just doing tons of stuff on the WWE social. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm just stoked to be there and be part of the broadcast team.
But this is nothing as a knock. It doesn't look like Jesse's in shape to wrestle.
No, I don't think he's going to
So
wrestle.
what's he going to do?
Him and Joe Tessitore, I believe, are going to do like hits together where they talk about the card, make predictions, things of that nature. You know what I think he's going to do? I think he's going to get paid to go up there and be Jesse the Body Ventura.
That's it. Those are the best gigs.
I think that. And by the way, though, he did sounded
great
when he started. Like he sounded clear, and he's really still there. Like
how old is he?
He's 73. He thought he sounded great when he started talking trash about Cody Rhodes and Dusty Rhodes. It made me happy to think, all right, they're not going to just because he's an old guy make him a good guy when he comes back.
So he was a bad guy when he wrestled.
Always was a bad guy, and to hear him start bad-mouthing Cody Rhodes, who's the most beloved good guy, I was like, okay, this is the Jesse I want.
Well, it was good for him to come by. Very nice.
Yeah, it turned out fun.
That's a long trip for him.
From Minnesota.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We had a lot of special guests today. The Billy Crystal surprise was nice.
That was very, very nice. Got a nice text from Dave Rothenberg just now. All of the people that we work with.
And by the way,
Alex Rodriguez texted.
I got to say, too, I don't know what the future is going to be with Yes and the radio station. On behalf of me and Don, though, it's been a great run with Yes.
Yeah, very much.
From Flip to Jared to everyone down who produces the show, like Greek and Mike and everybody else who's been involved, everyone who does all of our remotes. There are just so many people involved on the TV side, and I just want to let you guys know we don't take it for granted. Being on Yes has been a big deal. The amount of times over the last 9 years that people from all walks of my life just send me photos because they're in a bar and there's the three of us hanging out. It's been a real thing for this show.
Well, the thread of all those videos are thanks to Yes and making them go viral, and it would have been 11 years in February, so it's been over a decade working with Yes. It's been terrific.
And the first day was pretty memorable.
It was crazy. The whole Coke thing in the
Diet
trash
Coke.
can. Diet Coke.
That really helped.
Honestly, that was something that was like just an afterthought.
And I remember that was met with such negativity. And John Filippelli, the president of the network, he called me up and read me the riot act. He said, as a producer, I thought it was brilliant. As an executive, it made me sick. I said, well, then be a producer.
All right, you want to know one last funny, real inside dope, as Don would say, on the workings of the station? I just received a new contract, so I'm going to stick around for a couple of years. Very exciting news. We're all very happy about that. So obviously, you know what it's like. They make you wait, then you get the contract. They go, hurry up and sign it, we want it back. That's how business tends to operate. And my agent's looking over the contract, and she goes, what is this in your contract about you have to wear a collar shirt?
Oh, wow.
That is from the early days of me just being that guy and refusing to conform to Yes at first, and then it had to get written into my contract. Wow. I said, I think we can take it out now. I think we're good.
Well, want to thank all of you. Want to thank Don and Peter. These 22 years have been amazing. It's been so much fun. And, I love Peter, but as I said, I'll channel Dorothy when she talks to the Scarecrow, and she said, I'm going to miss you the most. So Don and I have been through a lot, and we've come out on the other side okay. So thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us. Thank you so much for watching on Yes. This has been the honor of my life for you to let us into your car, let us into your home on TV. And for the final time, in the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody.
See everyone.
Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle.